Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Bird 91. We're talking to you guys about Ready to Love. Yes, we're breaking down episode 4. It's crazy. It's an all-white party. An all-white party. In the famous words of Terry Crews. Listen, we're going to break down episode 4. There'll be a few other people joining us on the super panel today. But we're going to talk about this episode because there was too much that was going on. You know, too much. As well. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is. You already know what it is, baby. All right, Stacey, how you doing, baby? You all right?
Did I mute? Oh, I thought I was still muted. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm alive and I'm well, baby. What do you think about this particular episode?
I mean, I don't think it started until it was the white party. The party didn't start till it turned white. And Tommy said it was going to be a Clorox white party, but we know it was anything but pure and white. The way they were popping and twerking up and down.
Absolutely, there was so much going on. We had Mike and Kayla talking. We had Kadeem and Swayze kissing and doing lip to lip. We had LJ, Shakyra now breaking up, no longer together. We had Justice leaving the party early. We had Justice showing his ass. I'm gonna lie to you, man. He gave us a whole king speech. You know what I mean? There was a lot going on in this episode. What would you say was the most standout?
The biggest standout of it was the exposure of Justice with he don't want to be there. Clearly, he didn't want to be there. He was over it, and he didn't GAF.
GAF. Yeah, no, I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, I saw Justice, and I think we've seen it from the early episodes that we just kind of knew that there's a lot of arrogance with Justice in the way he kind of maneuvered. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's start with the bees flock to the honey, baby. What man gonna say that? What man is out here calling himself honey? I mean, I got a little honey pot. I don't think he got one. I'm just saying.
You know, I didn't even deep it like that. I didn't even think of it like that. You know, the term honey that he said, yeah, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. That's why I said I think he carries a bit more of the feminine energy with the way that he maneuvers, in the way he interacts. So maybe, I don't know. I think that was also, I saw that from the early episodes, and I was like, yeah, he gonna piss off some people because if you're carrying that feminine energy, it's too much.
But wait, hold up. Not everybody. Hey, everybody in the chat. Not everybody in the chat calling him Justin.
Oh, yeah, Justice. Sorry, that's a Justice.
No, it's Justice. But I mean, that's how much they've seen of him. Don't nobody even know his real name.
It's actually Juwan. That's what I saw his name was. It's not Justice, but yeah.
It's so sad. It's so sad because, you know, like in all these other seasons, you know, a lot of the women got like unfairly characterized as being pygmies, which I don't even like that term. But if I can apply it to anyone on this season, it will be him. Like, he wanted to be chased. And baby, them women in Miami got Louboutins. They are not running miles to catch you. Sorry.
No, 100%. Like, you know, I'll be honest with you. It's he honestly wants like to be chased and to be courted, and anytime a man wants to be chased and courted, just know some bullcrap's gonna happen after. Like, if he wants to be chased and courted, that is not a man most times that you really want to be trying to be in a relationship with, because you're gonna be always chasing him in the relationship. Men, we're not created to be chased. I'll be honest with you, we're not. And I think it's very different from being chased and being sought after. I think the two are quite different. He generally wants you to chase after him rather than actually being somebody who's of renounce and status and particular being well known, and then women flock to you. It's completely different. He's actually doing what Laverne did last season, which is, I'm gonna sit in my corner and you're gonna have to come to me. You know?
But he's not even as good as Laverne was. At least Laverne was, you know, being really sweet and really kind to the ladies off camera, We know that he brought lunches and smoothies and juices, you know, whatever. He catered to whatever the ladies' preferences were from what I heard, and that's reliable sources. But Justice, he want to be chased and ain't even laying down any breadcrumbs. Like who? Like, you know, most of the time you hear, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this. Like, he wasn't even giving them anything to chase. I'm not paying for dinner. I'm not doing this. I'm not. What the hell? It's so many what you're not gonna do. So clearly, you don't want to be here. You don't want a woman.
Yeah, definitely. We'll come back onto Justice. Let's start going through some of these clips and start going through the show. I'm sure the others. I know. All right, let's go for our first clip of the day. Actually, it wasn't actually Justice, this first clip, so I guess we're going to talk about that.
I spend money to find out if I like you.
Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
It's not kosher. It's just not.
So how would I know that you like me?
Well, we would still interact.
Okay.
It's not like
I want to know your thoughts on this. He said he ain't gonna spend money to get to know you. Like, you know, was there any plausibility behind what he's saying? Any truth behind what he's saying, in a sense?
It's not even realistic. It's no reality behind what he's saying. You know, even if you go Dutch, you got to spend money on yourself. And from what we heard, who was it on one that was saying, hey, he was like, call me. She was like, I'm going to text you. He was like, yeah, text me. So clearly the ladies ain't even calling you. Like, he doesn't want to put any time or effort. I mean, at least if you're not going to put effort, put money into it. You're not even trying to meet up on a date or anything. And what do we know about Ready to Love? This is fully financed stuff. And you still ain't trying to meet with the ladies. What the hell? Get off.
It's true.
It's true. This Justice. Get off my phone.
No, it's true. I you know what? I at first I was trying to ride with him and see what he was kind of saying, because, you know, maybe he was more focused on being able to say, look, I want to get to know a woman, get to know her mind a little bit, you know, get to know what she's about. Maybe that's what he kind of meant. But then it was like, then he flipped it completely to now being about, you know, even though he's not going to spend no cash, it's like almost as if as well, like, you know, I'm just basically, you're not worth it for me. That's the kind of energy that was coming off, rather than being, oh, do you know what? I tried to get to know a person first before I start spreading the cash. It was more of a case of, it sounded like, you're not worthy of my cash, you know what I mean? Especially when he gave the King speech towards the end as well. So, yeah, that was a bit cheeky from Justice. Welcome, boys, JR and Sean. Good to have you on board as well. You know, it's an all white party. Sean, I see everyone got the memo about white. Love it. Sean, what's your thoughts on to Justice just in this particular scene? What did you glean from what you saw?
Well, first off, I gotta say hello to Stacy. Looking good up there. Love it. Glad to see you. Missed you last week, you know.
Don't do it, sir.
No, you know, you gotta give credit where credit is due, you know? So but onto Justice, I think, like, I get what he was trying to say. And I think where I agree with him is, in the dating world, you want to know that your intentions are being matched or reciprocated. However, you know, he was putting 10 on 2, you know, with I'm not spending any money. And, you know, I get, you know, we're not flying people out, you know, unless there's a relationship going on. But other than that, I think he just really, really was, you know, looking for more attention than warranted it. And it's unfortunate because, you know, I think he overplayed his hand. And sometimes people like that, I guess it seems like he's overcompensating a little bit. So he doesn't want to put himself out there because he feels like he's going to get rejected. So, but he's masking it in all of this, quote unquote, I'm not wasting my time and I'm busy nonsense. My thought.
Love that point. JR, what's your thoughts on this? Just seeing to Justice, what did you get out of it?
Well, first of all, good evening, everyone. I think Justice really exposed himself big time. I don't understand how he could go on a date on a one-on-one and say what he said and expect to make a connection with the girl in front of him. That was completely crazy to me. Um, Apparently, from what he says, he was feeling the date. He felt the location was cool. So, yeah, I just think what he said was just completely absurd. If you want to be, securing future dates, making connections with someone, she may even go back to the deliberation and say, repeat what he said to her, and that's going to turn all the other ladies off. So I'm not sure what his motivation was, but nah, for me, big thumbs down for Justice on that one.
Stacey, jump back in for me. What's your thoughts on that, Stace?
Not Sean talking about overcompensating. What you overcompensating for? Nothing? What's more of nothing but nothing? Because he was getting nothing. Like, what the hell? No. Like, even if you want to say, oh, the poor lad, like, let me go to Kojo, poor lad. Maybe if we want to say that and say, oh, maybe someone did him wrong or used him, you're still coming into a situation where you're basically telling a woman, I'm not doing this, that, and a third, because what is the unspoken word? You're not worth it. I wish he would, baby.
I hear that. All right. Well, part of more of the conversation they were having, this is part of what he was saying.
I can come to you. I'm going to come to you. But you're not going to get much after you if you think I'm going to chase something. I'm too busy taking care of the kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? You looking at it, you want to get on it, you think it's a facade, that's on you. That means it's for somebody else.
Wait, rewind that. I gotta hear it again. Can I hear that one more time?
I can come to you. I'm going to come to you. But you're not going to get much after you if you think I'm going to chase something. I'm too busy taking care of the kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? You looking at it, you want to get on it, you think it's a facade, that's on you.
Did he say the wrong word for facade?
Did he say facade? He's talking about a boat.
Did he say facade? I'm not sure if he said facade.
Like
he might have said facade.
Facade, like a Jetta and a facade, right?
That's what I heard. I heard facade. I'm like, he's talking about cars?
Did he mean to say facade?
I think he meant facade, like.
Get off my.
Yeah, that's what happened. He trying to talk fancy. If you don't know the word, bro, just say what you mean to me, what you say.
You can't talk broke and fancy at the same damn time, Sean.
That's what I'm saying. Just tell me.
I'm not saying that's what he is, but I'm saying he's saying, no, I ain't spending no money.
JR, we knew what he's trying to say, but what he said was facade.
Don't JR in that foolishness. JR didn't understand that language either.
JR knew what he meant. JR, clear it up for all of us. Clear it over. What did he mean?
Okay. All right. So, the only grace I can give him is that it's still early in the process, and this is his first date with this particular lady. So he's kind of saying, but that's the only grace I can give him. And I really don't understand how he could say those things to someone that he's on a date with and look for another connection. I don't understand it. I even when I was watching it, I was thinking, dude, like I can't even imagine saying that in that circumstance. That's crazy. It wasn't like he was under attack or anything, or he was, hot under the collar, sweating, it wasn't like he was with Charisse or Kaden who's gonna go at him. Like, he was actually on a date where a girl was actually interested in getting to know him better, And look at her reaction. Her reaction said it all. She looked stunned. Like, wow, this is not what I expected. So he really let himself down that time, man. No redemption.
Sean, thank you, Joe. Sean, try and clear it up for our brother Justice. Clear it up for him. Like, what was he trying to say, sir?
He was trying to say that if you want a Passat, but you're really trying to have a Jetta, but you really need to have a BMW, or you could have a Porsche. That's what he was trying to say. Because ain't no way. I don't know what he was trying to say, bro. I don't speak that language. I think we got a case of the dust pox, hitting the Miami Beach shores, because he's talking dusty. Because I don't understand what any of that means. It's just ridiculous talk. double talk, triple talk. I don't know. I can't make sense of it.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's interesting. I'll play the first part of that because I think the first part he actually mentions about the whole king thing in it. So I'll play. I'll see if I got that clip above it. Let's see.
See what she's about.
The first thing, I got probably a different process. It's a little probably awkward.
Okay.
I'm not a big dater, so I'm not gonna do things that romance you like. No, I'm not gonna do it. It's rare. You know what I mean?
I think he answered his own thing there. He said he's not going to do things to romance you. Stacey's logged off. He said he ain't going to do things to romance you. This is what we want to know. He's not going to do things to romance you. Is this the new style of dating game? People out here not trying to do things to romance you. Like, what does he really mean by that? What's underneath all of that? I think that's what I'm trying to ask. If somebody says they're not going to romance you, you know, what's the reason for that? What's underneath all of that energy? Go on for it, Sean.
Yeah, it's simply, I think he probably fell asleep watching one too many episodes of Red Pill Manosphere, content. So he just fell asleep, and then just a couple of the things sunk in. So I think he's working on his kingdom, right? Because you see there, he came with his cleanest bag to the white party, ready to go somewhere, right after. But ultimately, I think what he's letting Jamelia know is that, look, don't waste your time with me. I'm not going to spend time wooing you or letting you know of my intentions. I'm gonna tell you what it is, and if you want to be on this timeline, then you can be on it, or you can move on. That's in essence what he's saying to her. And I think she got the message, which is why she was turned off, because in essence, that's what he's saying. Look, if you want to get down with this, I'm giving free dates. It's similar to what Corey was saying the last season of Ready to Love, right? He was like, I'm going to give you the date for $9.99, whatever that, ridiculous price he said you can get a first date for, right? So he's on that thing. I'm trying to do things for free. We can go to the beach. But other than that, I'm not spending my money. And if you're down with that, then good. If you're not, I'm working.
I hear that. Thank you, Sean. Good breakdown. Stacey, what are you hearing?
Well, on top of I'm going to be low effort and I'm not going to be in tune with you as a woman. I'm not going to take an interest in the things you like, because isn't that what romancing someone is? Finding out the things that they like and catering to those things or those needs. He also said, if you caught it, and I didn't really catch it until you just replayed it. He also said he's just going to be building the kingdom, taking care of the kingdom. So he wants just like a basement partner. He wants like a roommate. He doesn't seem like he's saying that he wants like that real partnership and things that we really want when we're intentionally dating. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm at a loss for words. And how often does that happen? Like, I can't.
No, I definitely hear what you guys are saying as well. I think also what I glean from that is, I think as well, it was a passionate speech as well towards the end for no reason. I think that's what caught me off guard. It was like the king's speech, hear he, king saith, and it's like, but there was no reason for the gathering of the of the peasants, of us called audience, to come and listen to your story. Like, we actually had no reason to hear that part. It almost felt as if he was defending himself against something, like saying, look, I'm going to tell you, because he said this similarly before with Kayla a couple of episodes back. He said this with Kayla, I'm not going to pay for no dates, blah 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 blah. But it's like, why was that such a big on Ready to Love? You guys aren't even paying for dates. That's what's blowing my mind. You're not even paying for dates. They are setting up dates for you. And even if you don't want to even date and go on these things, you can call people. It's free. Insta calls there, Skype calls there, Zoom call there, StreamYard is there. Like, blood, if you there is literally WhatsApp call. Like, you ain't got no excuse as to why I can't communicate with you. You know what I mean? Surely open your mic again, go for it, and I'll get you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sometimes the ladies get, pinned for being delusional, but I believe justice is delusional, right? There's a woman from 90 Day Fiance, and she's talking to her her fiance that she brought over on a K1 visa from I forget what country in Africa. I'm not sure if it's Nigeria or what have you. But she was like, "How you gonna be a king without no kingdom?" You know, like, and that's what I think when I hear Justice carrying on with all this kingdom nonsense. You preparing your kingdom. Where's the kingdom? What is it? You know, kings don't sweat money. Kings don't talk about what they're not going to do. Kings just fall back in the cut. They don't need to give big, long speeches. You know, it just comes together. So I think he's delusional.
Hear that, Sean. JR, what's your thoughts? You were going to say?
Yeah, I agree with Sean. I think he's delusional because if he thought that speech or that date went well or was going to resonate with Jamala in any way positively, like, yeah, he's clearly not thinking straight, man. For me, he did exhibit a lot of dustiness. Like you said, the dates are free on Ready to Love. That's what I'm saying. Like, he needs a good sweep down, bro. Like, the dates are free on Ready to Love. And for me, again, just thinking about it, maybe he's just not feeling her. So he's telling her, look, this is what I'm not prepared to do for you. But then again, we don't see him with any connections at the moment. So why would he do that? If he wants to stay in the game, like, and stay on the show, then he has to build connections. Otherwise, he gets sent home. So, yeah, I don't get it. Like, if he's not feeling her, there's other ways that he could have said it if there's no connection. But to just come out the gate and sit down and do that, man, I was surprised. Well, I'm not surprised because I kind of predicted that it would move mad from the beginning. But I am kind of surprised that he did it with that much vim to someone that hadn't even attacked him. That was crazy.
Says a lot. Hey, ladies, welcome to the panel. Thank you, Jay and Seaway. It's good to see you on here as well. Good to have you on board. We're just discussing our brother Justice. We just want to... I'll play the clip for you guys so you guys can kind of see what was said in the moment. You can have a little listen to it.
See what she's about.
The first thing, I got probably a different process. It's a little probably awkward.
Okay.
I'm not a big dater, so I'm not gonna do things the romance you like. No, I'm not gonna do it. It's rare, you know.
So, who would like to go? Oh, Seaway has got her hands clasped. Seaway, would you like to read Justice some justice?
You know, I almost don't want to because I feel like that's the reason why he's on this show. I feel like we should treat him like we do the old girl from Married at First Sight that was on there for 5 seconds and left because she didn't like the man with the teeth. I think he should be ignored because he's on this show. He clearly has very bad intentions, you know, like nothing about him is showing that he's ready for love. He wants love. We don't even know what type of love he likes. We don't know his pronouns. We don't know a lot of stuff about him. That's very, very questionable. And I just feel like we shouldn't even, you know, discuss him. But if we're going to discuss him right now, all I have to say is his energy is bad. It's very, very like dark energy, not to be in the clouds, but he has very, very dark energy. And this whole like I want to send ghost signals to date is odd. And he seems like he has to be on there for clout, to be honest. Like he's doing the event planning. He wanted us to know that he was leaving to go to an also important event. I know that's later, but yeah, what he said is just like, do you like women? Do you like people? Do you like being around others? Like, it's like, he doesn't even seem like he likes to be around humans. He seems like very uninterested in the whole, him and Zoe, with the whole entire process. So it's just like, oh, that's probably what they're calling me. So yeah, I don't see it for him. His energy is bad.
Appreciate Seaway. That was very tame, mild Seaway. She's obviously warming up, guys. Okay, she's warming up.
Dang, Jay, you didn't hear the pronouns in there, Kojo?
Oh, I heard one or two. That's why I said it was a build up. It was a Silence of the Lambs kind of kill.
Only because you shouldn't give people the energy that they're seeking. If they're gonna go out and be attention seekers, I ignore attention seekers. and I ignore people.
I know,
who
but
use
we
platforms.
want to see you do your best. We want to see you do your best work. Okay,
I'll
we
see
want
what I
to
can do
we
later.
want to see body parts flying. Okay. All
I'll see
right,
what
so
I
we'll don't worry. That's all right. No worries, Seaway. We appreciate you. Jay, what's your thoughts on justice?
I'm everywhere where Seaway is with this, and I'm actually seeing what she calls sass, but I'm going to say the zest of it all with this brother right about now, because definitely with Seaway, do you like anybody? If you watch most of the interactions, he's sitting with Trinika, is that her name? How you said? Twice. 2 times he's sitting with her. Both times they're not engaging with each other. They're just sitting there like they're waiting for a bus. Like, what are you guys doing? I don't even understand what he's on the show for at all. Like, you're saying this monologue that makes absolutely no sense. You're a king of what? You have to have a queen, you have to have some villagers, you got to have some followers, you got to have some people to be a king. Like, what are you king of? That I need to know first. Why are you here? Because you're not trying to talk to anybody at all or whatnot. And then you're telling them what you're not going to do. And if we get further into it, you can't even make plans to do those things that you're not, that you're those walk in the park, the walk in the park and all the beach and all that stuff that Sean was talking about. You said you're going to do. You can't even do that because they can't even talk to you on the phone. So what are we doing?
Maybe he don't got a phone, Jay.
No, because when they try,
He
what
may
if
not
he's
have a
complaining
phone.
about somebody DMing him too late?
Right, he may not have a phone. Guys.
What kind of promotional
planner
driver are you gonna be?
Your occupation keeps you out late. So someone, most event planners like that who plan late into the morning hours, early into the morning hours, they sleep a good part of the day. So you complaining that she's hitting you up on your
in the
daytime hours, on your available hours. Like, if you didn't see any woman that you were attracted to, if no one here is who you wanted, in the least, promote yourself. Look good at something, but it was just an epic fail at everything. Like in seasons before, you get your fitness trainer and they be slick, not just fitness trainers. So I'm not being shady. I know y'all be thinking I'm shady as hell, but I'm not saying it like that. But at least somebody was, they had talked about some candles or something. He didn't even do that. He didn't do that. He just said what he's not going to do. He said he the honeypot. And he said he a king in the kingdom. And it's a quote out there, a famous quote that says, a man doesn't have to say that he's a man. A king don't have to say he a king.
Hello.
And if you a king, people gonna flock to you. Who was flocking? Wasn't no bees trying to get that honey, baby.
They came, but they found out the honey was rancid and flew on off. Like, they gone now. Like, you pushing them all the way. But what I tell y'all the first time, when you refer yourself to honey, which is bees, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's bees poop. Let's get it. Let's be for real what honey really is. Okay. So that's what it is. And that's what you're referring to yourself as. Well, that's what you are. You're full of, okay. So here we are wasting all of our time, all of the viewer time, getting screen time for this man. So this is what not to date ever. If you get this kind of vibe, period, we've been saying this man from day one is something that he's a problem. If you see this man in front of you, ladies, run fast. Men, if you see this man and that's what you into, run fast. Like, don't waste your time with it at all. Okay. Because Sean, you can make them eyes, but that one's zesty right there. Okay. The only attention he got, the only time he talked to when he was clapping it up for Mike getting a lap dance.
And really, what do women want? I mean, Seaway and Jay, what do women want? We want effort. If all else fails, what do we want? A little effort. Effort can save you and take you a long way. And what is he giving? Nada.
Dust, which he is.
And like I said, you talking about walks on
That's what y'all need to call dust.
You talking about walks on the park and the beach. Baby, in Houston, you got to pay to park everywhere. So he ain't going there either. He ain't going to Uber to meet you. Nothing. No, ma'am.
JR, jump in for me. Thank you, Stacey. JR, jump in for me. What's your thoughts on this, man?
Well, I agree with what Stacey's saying, man. That honey, I think he might be filled with honey and might be drunk off his own honey, but or drunk off his own sauce. But no, there's something up with him, man. He doesn't like any of the girls on the panel. He on the cast, and when I think he also is quite insecure. I think one of the reasons why he's behaving the way he is maybe because he hasn't made the connections that he may have wanted to. That could also be another possibility, because I remember last episode when Looney came back and he tried to take responsibility for bringing her back into the fold. I don't think that hit the mark where he intended to hit with her, because she's still kind of feeling Randall. Feeling LJ.
Yeah.
But on this episode, I detected that a lot of the ladies were talking about Randall and not him. So that may be another reason why he may have been in the struck. But again, this date was very early before a lot of the other stuff happened. So I really can't fathom what he was thinking at the time, man. I really don't get it. He hadn't drank before he said these things, so you can't even put it down as being inebriated or intoxicated. So I don't know.
Political. No, I definitely hear you. I appreciate it. All right, cool. Let's leave him for a little bit. You know, Jamala was out here with King Randall. I got a little clip from that show. Yeah.
Hopefully you know it's genuine.
I hope so.
From the beginning, Randall pretty much has said his interests. He didn't try to hide it. He didn't try to play it cool. And
Wow, Jamala and Randall. My question is, do you believe in this thing called love? Do you believe in Jamala and Randall's connection? Do you think Randall is just spitting game? Or, you know, what do you think about Jamala? Because it sounds like she's also feeling like she's falling like Alicia Keys. So I want to get you guys' perspective as well. Is there some of that happening as well? Jamala and Randall, what's your thoughts on that? I'm seeing a couple shaking their head. Okay. Sean, talk to me. What you saying, bruh?
Yeah, that body language, that 2-finger hold told everything. It looks fake. You know, just grasping on 2 fingers. Where we do that at, huh? Where we do the 2-finger hold? Barely. You know, like at our big grown age.
When you grab the 2 fingers.
You didn't see them holding 2 fingers together like this? Nettie and Philly.
You got to run that back.
What are they doing?
Best friend vibes.
Exactly. That's like, you know, we just play. We playing for the camera. You know, it was definitely playing. We're gonna play for the camera, and we're gonna say what we feel like is gonna make the scene, you know, do something. But the body language said it all. They could have sat next to each other. They could have been more closely. You know, yeah. The body language said it all for me.
I'm hearing you on that. Just to see again.
Hopefully you know it's genuine.
I hope so.
from the beginning, Randall pretty much has said
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, Sean, you know what? No, never mind.
Get off my screen.
I was about to say that right there. That's a different hole too, but it depends on how you do it. But y'all got church tomorrow.
No, you gotta be holding something else. You gotta be touching something else, Jay. You know, you gotta. No, that's
after dark.
That's different. That's after dark. You get in there and you touch the inner palm, but that was none of that. It was a loose, limp finger. Like, ooh, I'm scared to touch you. No. I know what that other thing was.
Just her body language, like she leaning all the way back in the seat. Come on.
Wait, do you think Jamala? But wait, do you honestly think that Jamala's not feeling Randall? I think she's feeling him. I think she's definitely feeling him. You know, I think she's indeed. What are you saying, Seaway? Go for it.
She is, but I'll wait till they finish because I think I have a different opinion.
Oh, okay. You don't have the same opinion as Two Fingers. Stacey, what's your thoughts?
That I don't think anything of it. Dry and dusty. What's the word tonight? Dusty. Every time y'all hear dusty,
dust pox.
Nope.
Got the new epidemic, dust pox.
I mean,
Yeah.
she okay, so to give her a little credit, she seemed like she was willing to listen to what he was saying, but at the same time, her body language was just saying something else. Because I know if I'm leaning back like that, like if I want to listen to what you're saying and I'm really interested in you, I'm gonna be sitting up. I'm be like, I'm gonna give a little sexy side. She's just like, okay.
Okay. That's a fair point. Stace. Okay. JR, what's your thoughts of that? You think what you saying about Jamala and Randall?
I think Randall was spitting game. I think Jamal was feeling him, like she enjoyed their time together. That little flirtatious finger hold that Sean's talking about, yeah, I think that was enough to make her swoon a little bit. She sat back, she relaxed. I agree. Usually, someone would try to get up closer but I think she was just happy that she felt good. That doesn't mean that he's her number one at this moment, but yeah, she enjoyed the vibes. But I think Randall is in serious jeopardy of flirting too hard with the girls on the cast. Like, it's okay to give a little to show interest in wanting to date and not narrow it down to one, but I think he's overdoing it a little bit at this point, because he's got himself into a triangle of terror potentially. So yeah, I hope he realizes what he's doing. I like him with Trinika, so I'm not sure what his tactics are, or if he's playing game, but yeah, I think he needs to be careful how he lays it on. He may be laying it on too thick.
Cool. All right. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Thank you very much, JR. Appreciate it. Seaway, what's your thoughts to that?
Okay, so I think that she really does like Randall. That part is clear. I think the two fingers was like a little coy thing. I think y'all may have read what happened, Coach?
We have a
camera problems. Go for it.
Okay.
Continue, sorry,
I got distracted. I saw anyway. I think the two fingers is like a little coy thing you do when you're being coy. I think that's what that was. I don't read much into that. But Randall is giving Jason, and I'm not gonna take credit for this. They said in the comments, but I've been thinking it for the last 2 episodes. Randall is giving Jason, and I think if he doesn't be careful, he's going to be in trouble trying to bounce back and forth between the different people he has. He's a more likable Jason, though, to me. So I agree with you guys that he's giving Jason, but he's way more likable, way more dateable, far less corny. But I do think he has the same type of issue where I feel like he's getting more play now than maybe he ever has. And I think he's kind of enjoying that. It's hard to tell who he really likes at this point. I feel like Jamala is probably, him and them two are the cutest and I feel like the best suited. And I think he'll probably lean more towards her later, but it's hard to tell. I think his other options just aren't as well suited for him, in my opinion. I don't know what he's gonna think, but he's definitely gonna have to be careful because what's his face? Kayla's already being jealous, and there's already a lot of stuff going on. So he's gonna have to be careful. He is very likable at this point, but I do think him and Jamala, they're vibing. I think they're vibing. I think that's what you guys are gonna see later. I think they're definitely vibing. So we're gonna see. And he's Jamala's best option. What's her other option? Justice? What's she gonna do with him? It's Randall.
So what happens? So what happened? That's what I was gonna say. So what happens when she? Let's say you're actually right. So if she hasn't got much options, she's only got Randall. What position does that leave her in though?
I think though if she plays it right, she's going to be battling out with Kayla for the number one position with Randall. I think the thing is though, Jamala is more of that fit, feminine, submissive. She's also more, her personality is just, in my opinion, more likable. She's more approachable. She seems easier to talk to. Kayla seems like a lot more to handle. And I don't feel like Randall can, in my opinion, from what I've seen, I don't think Randall is interested or wants to handle all of the stuff that Kayla's going to be bringing, because when she was questioning him later on, he shuts down. He doesn't say much. He tries to like move around it. I feel like Jamala is the better option for him because they're on the same wavelength of like personalities, energy. They're both cute. I mean, I'm not saying Kayla's cute too, but they both have a good vibe. So if she plays it right, she's fine. She doesn't need another option because I think she's going to be his number one option. I don't think he's going to put Kayla in front of her just because of her personality. I don't see it. Trinika is a no for me. I maybe she's a yes for him, but it's a no for me. So we're gonna see.
Okay, that's interesting. No, I definitely think he likes her. Whether he likes her enough, that's another question. I definitely think Jamala likes him more than I think he likes her. And maybe because he's got options, he can be a bit more coy with it. She's only got one choice, you know what I mean? And that is so hard. I like in this particular game, having only one person is so difficult if the other person also is not feeling you exactly the same way. It just leaves you vulnerable, you know what I mean? And like it leaves you in that space where if that person also is like got more options than you, they can kind of mess around a little bit, do you know what I mean? And kind of almost ask for more effort from you in order to be the number one, you know? So you got to really be headstrong, and you really just got to love yourself and know what thyself is about, because this is how you get dragged out of position and made to look like one dickhead. Like honestly, like you'll get dragged out, made to look like a fool. You know, no one's there. Like, and this is what happens actually. And I know like you can't see all of this stuff in the real dating world, but you actually feel it. So like when people are taking long to text back, when people are taking long to call you back, when people are, you know, you see them airing your messages but clicking onto Instagram stories, like when you start seeing all that kind of stuff, this is what it looks like. Yeah, when people got other options other than you, and you're not the main priority, this is how it looks like in the social media world. But in the real world, this is how it shows itself up. Like what we're seeing. If you could see everything that was happening, this is exactly what's happening. He's got 3 options. At this rate, he's got all the power. Go for
Seaway. You think about it, he will, because if you think about it, who are actually the men with no kids, right? You just have him, and you have the older guy, the half Persian guy. What is his name?
Samson.
Yeah, him, Samson, and I think LJ, right? And then Swayze. Swayze, they have completely written off. Samson is, you know, basically Samson and what's his face that we're talking about right now.
No, remember Swayze has his little kissing cousin Kadeem.
That's not his kid, the one he's raising?
No, I'm saying Swayze was. I thought you were saying they wrote him off, meaning he doesn't have any connections.
No, I'm saying like the general. Yeah, he has one. He has Kadeem, but I'm saying in general, when you think about it, what is the guy? Randall. He is really the most eligible. LJ has a daughter. Oh, then scratch him. So basically, you're talking about very few people, and Randall is the only. I don't want to say this, but like traditionally attractive, tall man. I mean, they literally set the women up for failure. It was gonna be like this. That's why he can pick and choose. If you're talking about people with no kids in his early 30s.
But was that a requirement for Jamala? I thought Charisse was the only one that said she didn't want kids. With kids.
I don't think she said it, but I mean, I would assume that a 33-year-old attractive young woman that doesn't have kids probably would gravitate towards the other 30-something-year-old man with
no, because remember Kayla was saying she likes older guys. That's why she was, you know, with Mike.
So, I don't know what Kayla's doing. I'm just saying Kayla, I don't know why anybody would want Mike and his problems. I think in general though, most women like Jamala would be attracted to somebody like Randall. Kayla going for a man with 3 kids, I will not say is the norm. That is odd. And I think she's actually not, because she's all up in Randall's face trying to sweat him for what he's doing. So I think she also wants the man with no kids.
Yeah, I would just differ with you on that. I hear what you're saying, but I just, from the ladies that were, you know, kind of talking throughout the season, there was only one that really stood up and said that they wouldn't want to deal with the man that has children.
Because you're going to limit yourself. You're going to limit. Why? If I raise my hand and I say I don't want a man with kids, I better make sure I have my ducks in a row, because you're going to be kicked off when most of the men on here.
Why would we read anything more into it then? That if that's what they are saying, that's what it is until they say something different.
Sean, I don't know what you're saying right now.
I'm saying that you made a point that some of the women that are not like Jamala or whomever else and Kayla would not, because of their age, be interested in the men with kids. And I think that they're not opposed to it. Now, do they want a man with 3 and 4 kids? Probably not. But I don't see it that they are totally closed to a guy with kids.
No, I didn't say totally closed. I didn't say totally closed. I said they're gravitating towards the man that is more like them with no kids. I'm not saying they refuse.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure that
and how I'm adding on to what you said is the fact that I think that women nowadays, and especially the women here that we're talking about, are a little more open to that, because it limits you, not just in Ready to Love, but in real life situation.
Open and what they want are two different things. Open is like what I will take if I don't have another option. What they want is Randall. What they'll take is the man with the kid. That's the difference I'm saying. Now, Charisse is saying, I don't want your kid, period, point blank. She is standing on what she's standing on, and that's going to get her where that's going to get her. But I think you're going to see people tussling over Randall because of what I'm saying. Now, we can pretend that it ain't what I'm saying, and we can do that, because it ain't because he's the finest man in the world. He's a nice-looking guy, but it's because of the fact that he's coming with no baggage, and he's tall, and he's in the like situation that they're in. I don't think that's a weird situation.
Okay, I love this dialogue you two had. Thank you. The views shall go up. Jay, talk to me.
Y'all funny. Y'all forgetting one main factor of this whole thing is, if y'all pay attention to Jamala's a gamer. Jamala's a player. Jamala knows what she's doing. Jamala will get that man if she wants him. That's a big if in that whole factor. She is very coy, yes. She plays the back. She relaxed. She's chill. She's not giving you what Kayla is giving you already, all up in your face. I see you talking to such and such. Every time they talk, it looked like there's a business transaction that's happening, because she's keeping her options open. She's not sitting here trying to make sure that anybody's locked into her, and she's locked into anybody by anybody's viewpoints. When you're a gamer, you know how to work that whole room. Nobody know you talking to nobody up in there. And that's what Jamala's been doing. Every time he's been stepping close to her, that makes him come draw in more to her, because he's trying to figure out where she's at, what she's doing, what she got going on. He's going to draw into her faster than she's drawn into him. She's recognized what he got options. Yes, he got options. Why should I throw myself at him? I'm just going to give him just enough so he can pull on that string. And when I got him hooked, I'll reel him in. That's how you do that. She is playing the game right now. At the same time, I'm pretty sure she's talking to a couple of other people in the background and give them that same amount of attention. Y'all all going to get the same attention when I see you. You know, I'm not going to give you too much energy, just enough to keep you interested in talking to me some more later on. She's smart. I'm not mad at this. And that's what y'all missing in the fact that y'all counting her out like, oh, Randall is this and that because he got all these options. She got her options too. She on her dark arts, but y'all just don't see it. Pay attention to it.
Let me tell you, I told Sean earlier, let me tell you when she played real dark arts, when she told that man Justice, ooh, baby, I'm going to text you later. I'm going to let Tommy know that you leaving. And then when they got to the room, she played that man so fast. I was like, Jamala, don't trust her. That's Delilah. Don't trust
that is not Delilah, baby.
I like her for it. I like her.
I like it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's when you don't have to say everything. I don't have to tell you everything I'm thinking. I don't have to tell you my next move. You don't know. I'm just gonna be nice in your face and then go on and do what I gotta do. And nobody is none the wiser up in that whole thing. And so that's why I'm like, I'm watching Jamala. I like it. I like the gameplay right now. I'm not mad at sis. She gonna pick up somebody else in the background. Next thing you know, LJ be voting for her to keep her on. Randall be voting. Zoe be voting to keep her on if he lasts long enough. You know, people are gonna be voting for her to stay. So y'all watch out. Randall, like you said, though, Seaway, I do agree that he's gonna get himself caught up because he out here keeping himself open and playing the field and stuff. And after a while, men like to pretend they could juggle, but they really can't. They really can't. Y'all really can't juggle like that. Y'all really can't. Y'all only can juggle when it's physical. When it start getting emotions involved and stuff like that. And this is all these women's emotions right here in front of him. You got Kayla already questioning him about everybody. You got Trinika looking in the corner of her eye and stuff, and he over here worried about Jamala. So he gonna get himself caught up in that. And we see it every season where the men get caught up while the women over here playing in the background. Y'all need to learn how to play in the back. Y'all want to play in the front, all in everybody's face and stuff. See, that's what y'all get for playing on people's tops. Watch yourselves. That's all I'm gonna say.
Love it. Okay. Oh, you want to respond, Sean? Okay, I'll let the guys respond and I'll go to Lorraine after. Go for it. Respond, Sean.
Yeah, I hear what y'all are saying, but respectfully, I'm going to have to disagree with that. And I get everything up until the men don't know how to play. These men don't know how to play because ain't no way. And you see it all the time. And even Kayla showed a little bit of it in terms of not knowing how to play in the background. You know, you peeping a little something. The show is about mixing and mingling. And so often it's the ladies that be like, oh, well, you was kissing this one behind the stage. Or they start telling on each other like Winter, you know, got told on, you know, because she was creeping into, you know, different rooms and such at late night hours on the resort in Houston. Yeah, y'all be back there, you know, doing damage and bumping your gums. So, you know, that's all I got to say.
Oh, I hear that. JR, do you have anything to say to that?
Yeah, I think what's beginning to play out is a little bit of Randall has, like everyone said, been identified as let's say, I don't want to use the term high value because he's not. We don't know that, but he's been defined as a target, like the best guy on the show, probably all round, right? By a lot of the ladies, which is why I think they've gravitated towards him. But the three different ladies that he's actually got the connections with, like I said, Trinika, for the first couple of episodes, he seemed to be vibing with her, and that seemed to be more like a nice mellow vibe. With Jamala, it seems more like a flirtation, but not leading to anything at this moment in time. I definitely don't see them together. Kayla, her energy is completely different to the other two. In fact, she's more similar to Charisse and Kadean in a way, with the way she presents herself. And that's why I think he's going to have a problem, because I think there is going to be a competitive element to these girls, these ladies. And I think Kayla has already exhibited or started to show those type of feelings going forward, right? So what I noticed was Kayla had her legs on LJ, but she was looking at what Randall was doing. And then she tried to pull him up about what he was doing with this girl, but you had your legs on LJ, so there must have been a level of comfortability and a connection there for you to have your legs on him and be chilling, right? So how are you going to then try and put Randall on blast for having the connections he has? Maybe someone did dance with him. Maybe he has been kikiing with Jamala. But Kayla, like, it's not your business at this point in time. If you like him, try and show up the best you can to him so that you become his number one. But don't sit there and start nitpicking at what he's doing with other girls, because that makes you seem insecure. And are you ready for the process, for this type of process, if that's what you're, if that's the signals you're emitting, you know? So that's my take.
Appreciate that. Thank you much. Clearly, obviously, I'll play the clip with Kayla.
Jamala, it's looking like y'all having such a good time. I seen you touching Jamala's waist and I saw her ass on you too.
Damn, no you didn't. Now you just making stuff up.
I am?
When you see
Am
that,
I making stuff up?
When you see that.
That was a bit tasty. Lorraine, what's your thoughts? Jamala, Randall, Kayla. It's a bit of a love triangle right now. It's actually a love square when you add Tranika into it. But what's your thoughts, Lorraine? What's your thoughts?
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Hello.
baby.
So not me saying that Randall is my favorite last week and then him becoming a hot commodity. I was like, oh, what happened? But do you know what? I can see it. I can see why he has become a hot commodity. And it's not the fact that he hasn't got no kids. Like, don't undermine his swag. Don't undermine his smoothness. He's got a bit of smoothness, but I think he's just, I think women like a man who's sort of like laid back and not like in your face with it, and comes across as confident in themselves, secure in themselves without being too much, without like doing the most. If we're going to compare him to Swayze, for example, if we're going to compare him to Justice, for example, their demeanors and their characters are completely different. And you know, he's got that whole tall, dark thing. Like, he's not the best looking guy in the world, but he's not the worst looking guy in the world. I just think that it's his demeanor, it's his spirit, it's his energy, and he's a charmer. He's a smooth talker. So let's not undermine what he's got, you know, bringing to the table. Whether he's a high value man or whatever, but he's hot commodity, and you know, he deserves to be. Let him be number one. I see this whole Kayla thing come left field. So first of all, you're saying that this guy, I'm just giving him a chance. Like, it came across as though she was giving him a chance. You know, he's not my usual type. The next minute you're pressed because, you know, he's doing this with Jamala. I didn't notice her saying anything about the other lady. I can't remember her name. The lady in the cast. Shanika. Maybe we didn't see their conversation or not, but she seemed to be more sort of upset about his interaction with Jamala, and I believe it's because of Jamala probably intimidates Kayla. I think that's what it is. So if he had been talking to the other lady, or maybe if he did speak to the other lady, I don't think she was that pressed or bothered, because maybe she doesn't see her as competition. She sees Jamala as competition. And I think they probably have like similar body shapes, and they probably are like similar age. So like in her mind, this is my competition. So I don't know if she's playing to win or if she's playing for Randall. So I'm not too sure about that. Does she actually? I get it. Like, this is, you know, when they went on their date, you know, she was loving it. They were having a good time. But she then realized that, hold on, you know, this guy, I was giving him a chance, and now it seems like everybody else is interested in him. What's going on here? So I don't know if she just wants to win. If she just wants to win him, or if it's, you know, she's genuinely interested. In terms of like Jamala and Randall, to be honest, I hadn't even noticed that she was on the show. I really, like, you know, I could just see her in the background here and there. Just this episode, that's when I was like, where did she come from, kind of thing, when she started talking to Justice and this, that, and the other. But you know, the fact that she's got a nickname for him and all that kind of stuff, I was just like, where did this come from? Like, am I missing something? Did I miss an episode? Like, rah, like, anyway. But maybe I'm just being naive. I don't think she's doing the dark arts or she's playing a game or this, that, and the other. I think she's genuinely interested in him. The way that she was talking to him, like the eye contact that she was giving him, she just looked like really giddy in front of him, and like she was really enjoying his company. Like she was just loving speaking to him, and you know, so I think that she's genuinely interested in him. But at the moment, I'm not too sure in terms of who he's genuinely interested in. I think with Kayla, it's more of a sexual thing, if I'm to be quite honest with you. But in terms of well, whether it's Jamala or the other lady, I don't know who he's genuinely actually interested. I haven't picked it up yet. I think he's enjoying the attention. I don't think that not that he doesn't, he's got game, but I don't think he usually gets this kind of attention on the outside. I don't think he's usually that guy. Do you know what I mean? So let him have his moment. Let him be the guy, and let him be the one to choose or whatever. But I'm not sure who he actually genuinely wants yet between Jamala and Shakyra, whatever. I don't think he wants Kay. I think that he just finds her attractive, but she's a problem. She's going to be on his back. She's going to cause him trouble, so you better buckle up. I thought she wanted Swayze, so the change in direction here, I'm just like, wow, what happened? So that's going to be interesting. But yes, Randall is our favorite. We'll have a bit of Randall over here, okay?
Appreciate it, Lorraine. Thank you. Brittany, welcome to the convo. It's good to see you here. Just to kind of reignite what the conversation was, we'll talk about this.
It's just hard to be able to accommodate what could be going on in someone's head, you know, and I don't want to say jealousy, but it's a lot of tension. You know, it's three women, Jamala, Trinica, and
we're talking about that love triangle square, X, Y, Z, up and down. So, Stacey, I haven't heard from you on this particular case. What's your thoughts on this particular situation, Jamala, Randall, Kayla?
Well, okay, so if we can go back to Randall and Jamala, like what the ladies were saying earlier, I was kind of like on the fence. Like I'm torn between what the guys were saying and what the ladies were saying. Like Jamala is kind of giving me Alexis from my season vibes. You know how you like tried to be available to these people who were not, you know, who were, maybe you weren't their top option, because like if we listen to the men's lounge, no one said Jamala's name as their top. We haven't heard her name out of any of the men's mouths. So my fear is that she's keeping herself too available to all of these guys, and that might just play her where you think you playing the field, you're gonna be played right off the field, and it's gonna end up ugly, because we saw that happen with Alexis. Like it's really like when I saw it this episode, I was just thinking, oh my God, Alexis, you know, and you know, I don't know. I mean, we give so many people credit for game, but if you're trying to find out who your potential mate is, you're not gonna be playing like this. You know, you're gonna actually take an interest in somebody, and I just haven't seen her show real interest in anyone, nor have I seen anyone show, you know, real attentive interest in her either. So I don't know about all that, ladies. Now, Kayla, I don't know. You know, like some men like a little jealousy, like a little jealous bone. They like to know that they're being fought for, and okay, you a little jealous. It's not always cute. So I hope that it's not like, you know, what it appeared to be. I'm gonna just.
Stacey, real quick, just refresh us. Who's Alexis again? What season is she from?
So Alexis was on my season, and towards the end, it was between Ron and AJ. And
what did she look like?
She was very petite.
Alexis Fly.
Oh,
Why
Why
you say that from the beginning?
I didn't know. I was like,
Damn.
you don't know
You
how
know,
to
she's
fly.
not. It's Alexis Fly. You gotta
Okay.
say Alexis Fly. Bruh, how can we all collectively say oh? Because we was like, bro, we don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the Fly. That's right. Yeah, she got caught up in it deep. Yeah, big
Right.
time.
And I mean, now that y'all know who I'm talking about, do you see what I'm saying?
I don't, but I go on. I don't, but it's because I was paying attention elsewhere. That's why I wasn't. So I don't know. But now I get what you mean by Alexis Fly. So I do get that. Okay, no, I hear you. Okay, caught up, like Usher said. Got me feeling it. Brittany, welcome to the conversation. We're talking about Jamala, Randall, Kayla. I want to get your thoughts on them. What's your thoughts on this love triangle? What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's pretty early on. Randall is trying to figure out. He's playing the field. Kayla, she has set her sights on him quickly. Rather quickly to me. I thought she liked Swayze too, but I don't know. But she must be feeling Randall a lot more. And then Randall and Jamala, I think they just kind of playing around and trying to see what could happen with them. But then again, I just think Randall is playing the field. I think he's doing what he should do. Kayla, she getting a little caught up too quickly. I think it's really early on in the process to, make us, kind of stake a claim on somebody. You can like them in your head the way you do, but you don't have to say it out loud. I would give it maybe like another 2 weeks to see what happens, or just kind of see, where things go. But Kayla doing a little too much too early, and Jamala, she's doing her thing like Randall is. Even though her and Randall are showing mutual interest to each other. And Randall's just doing his thing. I'm not mad at him at this point. Not right now. He doesn't have to make a choice.
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, cool. I like that. All right. So obviously we discussed a little bit about Randall, Jamala, Kayla as well. So we're gonna. Oh wait, has anyone else got a final dying breath they want to say about this situation? Yeah, dying breath is like 30 seconds. Anyway, all right, cool. Let's move on to the next part. Let's move to the surprise couple. Let's move to surprise couple. Let's move to this.
Swayze is very cut. I know who I'm getting. I know his intentions. Like, we just have a vibe to us.
Be cute. For real, what? Yeah, I understand. During this process, I'm supposed to open up and just meet all these.
Oh, he about to die no death. Anyway, listen, I want to get you guys' thoughts. Sean, open his mic straight. What you saying, Sean?
Yeah, first of all, it's like I've been watching these scenes so long. I mean, these shows, it's like you can tell when they chopped up what she was saying, because she said he's so cut. Either it's cut and dry, or she was giving him a compliment about his body, because that didn't match what she was trying to say. She was trying to say, like, she knows what she's getting with him. So either it was just bad editing, or she did a Passat like Justice did. But long story short, I think Khadian is going to eat him for lunch. On the upside, this is the softest I've seen Khadian all season. She didn't have a rib in her hand. She was very nice. But she grabbed that face. See, when she grabbed that face, she was like, "You're going to take this kiss." So, listen, they like it. I love it. And I'm going to land my plane.
What was the face again, Sean? What was the face? I just want to see what she was. That's going to make the cut, definitely. JR, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Kadeem and Swayze, man? Sorry, let me unmute you. Go for it, bro.
Okay. I think that is quite predictable for this. I'm not surprised at all. I'll tell you why. Because last week, when Swayze was delivering the news to her that she was in the bottom, he threw all the other guys under the bus by saying it was them, it wasn't me. I'm the only one that voted to keep you here. Kaden got saved. That made her automatically, she weren't feeling the guys anyway. That's why she was always nitpicking and going at them. But now, in order to stay on the show anyway, she needs a connection. who better to have a connection with than the person who saved her, like a knight in shining armor? And yeah, so she's warm to him because she doesn't feel any of the other guys. In fact, she's probably going to hold it against the other guys for voting her off, or putting her in the bottom two. So she's going to naturally gravitate towards Swayze, in my opinion, because he was kind of there for her and had her back, and she might appreciate that. However, I can see what Sean's saying. I detect that the personality is still there, even though it's warm towards Swayze. I think the characteristics, her natural disposition, is that of being judgmental, critical, and standing on what she says. So for me, now I see for it. She will struggle to make another connection in the show because of the way she's handled the other guys. And at this stage, you should be trying to make a few connections, even if they're not meaningful, even if they're not your number ones. I don't see her gelling with anybody else. So that to me could spell still being put in the bottom.
Hear that? Thank you, JL. Appreciate it. Go for it, Jay. Sorry. Go for it.
Yeah, there was no surprise there. For one reason, is the same what JR said. It's like last week he said that, it's them against us, basically, or whatnot. It's not hard to figure out people of like minds or like attitudes, so to speak, which they got very similar attitudes. They tend to link up and be together. Would it last? I don't know. It depends on if she can stay submissive enough to him long enough, and I don't mean like red pill submissive. I'm just mean like her softer side come out with him long enough. Being that he likes to have fun and joke around so much, it can keep it out for quite some time. But when serious things come up, that's when the problem is going to arise, and we'll see what happens then. But while they're having fun, they're young, they doing them, they like each other. It is what it is. He likes the challenge, and he's the only one to her who stepped up for the challenge. So in her eyes, he's a man. He's not backing them down from whatever she's gonna dish out to him and whatnot. And obviously he likes to tussle. So we'll see. That's how it's gonna go or whatever. But they was all up on each other, all up and through this daggone thing. She was on her handstand, winding her waist up on him. So, if anything else, somebody might be smashing later.
I hear you on that. Thank you, Jay. I thank you. Stacey, why are you laughing like that? What's your thoughts, Stacey? Huh?
Well, I'm with Jay. There's no surprise. Isn't this the couple that's all over Instagram saying they're not going to hide their love? So, I mean,
is it? They're on Instagram doing that.
That's why I think JR is wrong, because before it fully aired, wasn't they out there professing their love for one another? So
I've been trying to ignore it and just watch the show as it progresses.
I mean, I'm trying to, but the vibes it's giving me is Camille and Cornelius, and they're both going to end up in my humble opinion, they're both going to end up at the bottom of the barrel, because they're not opening. It's so early right now. They're not opening themselves up. So next week we're going to see the men saying, "Oh, we don't have a connection with her." And then the following week, we're going to see the ladies saying we don't have a connection with him. Because, I mean, none of the other ladies really, they thought, he wasn't serious already. They already had their reservations about him. No, it ain't a spoiler alert. Shit. I was trying not to see it too.
Hey, I heard it was on the internet, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know. What, they put up a post or something? Would they put up a post or something? Or?
I saw a couple of posts and a video.
Damn. I need Owen to tighten this up, man. These NDAs need to start coming quick.
Well, if you look at the reunion stuff, he's wearing the same color she wearing up in his napkin. Oh, damn. Yeah, and stuff.
And I didn't like that either. Like, why are y'all posting the reunion, your pictures now? Like,
I get you. Okay.
Terry Taylor said Swayze is a firefighter, so he's used to handling crisis situations.
That's cheeky. That is cheeky. I like that comment. All right, cool. I appreciate it. Thank you, Stace. Lorraine, what's your thoughts on this situation? What's your thoughts on Swayze and Kadian? True love? Is it real love?
Stacey, I can't unsee it now. You ruined it for me now. Ruined the whole season for me. I'm joking.
You ain't like his ass anyway, so who cares?
It's when she said, "Oh, you know, the real man for me here is Swayze." I had to rewind that because I thought, did I hear that properly? What's going on here? What do you mean the real man here? You mean the only man to pay you attention? You mean the only man to put up with you? That's what you mean. Is that what your definition of a real man? Somebody who's not going to tell you about yourself? Like, that was just hilarious to me. And then Swayze said, you know, I know we're supposed to be trying to go out of the norm, but I'm just going to go with what I know, with my comfortability. So this showed me that this is his usual type. Like he likes a woman with a bit of pizzazz, with a little bit of sauce sprinkled on top. You know, someone who's a little bit sassy with a bit of lip. I think he likes it because even when in the elimination date when she was saying all these things, he was like, oh, like. But I think he likes that, you know. But at the same time, he knows that she's trouble. So he says, you know, whether or not she's going to burn me or not, I don't know, because he knows that if she can speak this way or behave this way in these kind of situations and talk to men like this, that's probably what's going to happen with me. So he knows what's coming. I don't know what they have in common. I just, in terms of like what they've been speaking about, in terms of their connection, previously it's just been like a really playful connection. Like, no, you stop. No, you're doing the most. No, you're doing the most. Like, you know, really playful. Nothing, there's no depth there. There's no substance. Like, I don't even know well, I know Swayze's story. I don't even know what Kadian's story is. Like, what's her story? What is it about you? I don't know. She looked absolutely stunning, by the way. Let's just put that out there in today's thing. But I just don't know what her story is. I don't know what their story is. For me to root for them. And I think that's what we as a public want. We want to feel like we can root for you. We want to feel like, oh, we understand your journey. We see this connection. But I don't. I mean, if they are together and they're happy, good for them. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to see any depth in the couple.
Hear that? Depth indeed. We like to see depth. We haven't seen any yet. Brittany.
I don't really have much to say because I mean, you can kind of see where this is going to go. He's going to get tired of her attitude quickly. I mean, any man is not going to want to deal with her attitude, honestly. I mean, she's a cool person, but in a relationship, you know, the way she speaks, her tone, her attitude can get a little crazy sometimes, like she owns everything, and it needs to be her way. I mean, Swayze, I don't think he's going to want to deal with that for too much longer. I mean, it's like, I think Jay said it, somebody said it, the banter is cute, but it's going to get old really quickly. I don't know. I think she should have been going already, honestly. And he's putting all his eggs in one basket. I don't know if he's afraid to date other girls because he might be afraid of rejection, or he just wants to play it safe. Why? I don't know. You have an opportunity here to get to know other people and then also get to know yourself and see where you need to change it. But he's cutting himself off way too quickly. And he has other women that are into him. So I don't know why he's not playing the field like Randall is. I mean, I thought he would have been like Randall, honestly. But, hey, that's his choice. I think he's just playing it safe because he's nervous to get rejected. but it's gonna get him kicked off the show even quicker because, like I think Lorraine and Stacey were saying, he's taking his options away. They're both going to end up at the bottom. I mean, that's just what it is. Nobody's going to want to be around him. Nobody wants to be around Kadeem because of her attitude. So the men are going to kick her off very quickly. So what is Swayze going to do? Now, if it is just him left after she goes, I can see him having a chance to maybe getting to know the women, but it depends on how deep into the process they are. If it's too deep and everybody has kind of found their options and then they're kind of cutting it down, Swayze might get the boot. But he's a charmer, so he may be able to find his way back in there. But it depends. But I wouldn't do what he's doing right now, honestly. I can't really speak too much for Kadeem. Kadeem, nobody wants to deal with an attitude like that.
But if you remember, well, was it in his conversation last week when he said, when someone was asking him about his previous relationships, and he was saying like his last relationship was super long. The one before that was like 7 years. So clearly he's a relationships guy and he's not a serial dater. So I think he just found someone within his comfort zone and that's where he's going to hang out.
Look, I can agree with it. If that's what he wants to do, that's good. But why come on the show for that? I mean, I get what you're saying. I can see that side of it. However, if you're on a show like this, play the field and see what else you can find.
Totally agree with you because, you know, why do we end up on these shows? Because what we're doing isn't working. Right. And he's not trying anything new. He's not trying a new approach to dating. He's not giving the other women, it doesn't appear that he's giving the other women a fair opportunity to get to know these women, that he found whoever was in his comfort zone and he's going to stick there.
Right. And that's comfort is what keeps you from growing. So he's not going to grow. Period. End of story. And the other thing is that, like you said, he does like to date older women. So it sounds to me like he likes mothers. He wants to be mothered a little bit. But again, Kadeem's attitude gets old very quickly. So it's not going to work. And I'm wondering how long it's going to take for him to realize that for himself.
All right, cool. I like it. All right, good conversation. Let's move on. Unless somebody has any dying wishes again to say something on this particular topic. All in favor? Saying aye? Fantastic. All right, cool. Let's move to the next conversation that happened. We're going to ask a question about, the LJ and Shakyra situation. What are you going to say, Jay?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come out. I was typing in the chat.
No, you're good.
Jealous. Come pull me.
I told you that's not my speed.
I know.
LJ, he's like a ladies' man. He's a little bit too charming. After a while, that gets old. Can we be real?
Well, it looks like Shakyra was going to give him his marching orders. And I want to get your guys' thoughts, on Shakyra, the LJ situation. Was she right to try and give LJ the marching orders, or is she trying to get ahead of the game, as they say, so that she doesn't get hurt? She's trying to, jump ahead of time. What was your thoughts to their conversation? What was your thoughts to their particular connection? Did you see anything that you'd like to observe? Actually, let me hear one more clip for you guys whilst we're there more as well.
Nag you?
Yeah.
But I will do this.
Tiptoe?
No, walk away.
Walk away, okay.
She says she's going to walk away. I'm walking away cause there's troubles. Anyway, okay, so I want to get you guys' thoughts. Shakyra, LJ, marching orders, walking away. Is she right to say that? Is she doing too much? Is she putting 2 on 10? Is she within the right limits? What's your thoughts on this? Jay, what's that?
That was the 2 on 10 because that's what she was doing. She was definitely putting 2 on 10. She was doing a lot. And I said this last time, like, you ask a question and before they can answer, you're already speaking. You're already giving an answer. She tends to do this a lot. And I'm even getting annoyed with it. Like, bruh, like, shh. Stop. If I was a man, I'd be like, bye. Bye, sis. Walk away. Go ahead. Like, you're wasting my time by even telling me that you're gonna walk away. Just go. Just go. Okay. It's like, this is a dating show for one. You guys are supposed to date multiple people, and I get it. If he's not showing you any attention, fine, move on. Just move on. Okay. You don't have to sit here and tell him what you're not gonna do. We said this last year with Tori or whatever, last time with Terry. Don't be telling these people what you're gonna do and not gonna do. Just go and do it. If they ghost you, ghost them right back. When they boo them back. Like, oh, okay, hey, we back on this. Hey, how you doing? I'm back. It's your week to get eliminated, so you want to hit me up? Oh, okay, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? I'm gonna keep my options open, but I'm gonna go ahead and pay attention to somebody else. And that's all you have to do. If you got somebody in your back pocket, what she says, she got Samson in there, you don't have to give them the sass. You need these votes. You want to keep spending time with Samson? Low-key, I got to play into you a little bit so you can keep me on this show. All LJ's face was saying is like, okay, next week you're going to be a problem. I got to vote you off. What she tried to do this week is beat him to it by saying his name first. I see you making a connection with somebody else, so let me get rid of you. Like, just relax. Like, let him enjoy love. He's not for you. If he's making a connection with somebody else, he's not for you. Let it go. And I just wish she would chill sometimes when she asks people questions and let them answer the question and see what they got to say, you know. And I hate to say it, that this is her trauma playing into it, but sis is not as healed as she needs to be here. And I'll land there.
Okay, boss. I like it. Strong. I like it. Sean, go for it.
Yeah, that's exactly the point that I was gonna make. I think this is the wrong show for her. You know, I call her the hippy dippy trippy one. You know, she's just very much, you know, rainbows and clouds and, you know, pixie dust. And, you know, she got the little flower in her hair every scene. You know, I don't think she's set up for this. And then she's upset about somebody talking about her trauma. But you told people that you just met, you don't expect them to talk. Like, it's just a lot. She comes with a lot. You know, I do think that she should have just kept the information to herself, but it's clear AJ is out here selling what we call wolf tickets, right? And I'm aging myself, right? Because he's talking about he gonna take this one to Mexico and and I've been checking on this one that had, you know, the virus, you know, so it's like he's all over the place. But, you know, I think she was right in kind of maybe holding his feet to the fire a little bit. I think it was a little bit much calling him a ladies' man, but listen, let the ladies tell it. If that's how they, you know, if that's how he's being received. I don't see it from a viewer standpoint, but maybe it's true. But yeah, she's very emotional. You know, it's always, you know, some moment where she's, you know, I don't know, and my trauma and my children and my this and my that, and this is the wrong show for all of that. I'm sorry. That's it.
I'm not Sean doing the voice. Okay, I appreciate Sean. Thank you. Lorraine, what's your thoughts?
Sure, not the voice. Not the voice. That took me out. I want to tread lightly with my girl Shakyra. I want to tread lightly because of, you know, what she's been through. I find that she's quite entitled.
Question, Lorraine, do you know what she's been through?
I mean, what she's implying that she's been through, allegedly. Don't want to get anyone. Anyway, whatever. She comes across as quite entitled. Because this is not the first time that she's done this. She's done this last week with Alonso, where she was like, you know, why didn't you ask for my number? This, that, and the other. And, you know, this week she's like, why you ain't call me? Why, if you have to ask a man why he's not reaching out to you, why he's not calling you, you know they're not interested. But I feel like she, and as she should, she probably, you know, feels as though she's the bee's knees. You know what I mean? And she's surprised. Like, you know, all these men should be calling me. They should be on me. What is happening? She's shocked. She's absolutely shocked. This is not what this is not what she expected. You know what I mean? She never expected it for this to happen. So she's coming from a place of entitlement, of where she's kind of, you know, trying to hold these men to the fire to say, why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing that? Now, I just don't think that she's their vibe. Yeah. I just don't think that they're physically in tune with her. I think that's the main thing from jump. So before we even get into anything else, I just don't think that she's their vibe. You know, each to their own. And I do think that even though maybe she hasn't expressed it to the men, she is leading with her trauma. She's leading with it. So even though she's upset that what's her face kid, that one child, like whatever, she's gonna do what she's gonna do. But she spoke about it. You're speaking about it. You're leading with it, and then it kind of puts you. I feel like it kind of puts you in a box, where you're kind of like you're vulnerable. So she doesn't want to come across as like the victim, as like. But that's how you're coming across, and that's how the men are kind of like treating you. They're kind of like walking around eggshells around you. Like, you know, you've got to be nice to Shakyra because you know she's been through something now, so we got to treat her nice, kind of thing. So I kind of feel like that's not that it's. I feel like it's unfair because it kind of gives her an unfair advantage. Like, you know, we can't send her home because then you know she's been through this, so we got to be nice to her and this kind of stuff. So she's not healed. Like, no one will ever be healed. Like, it's a healing journey. So for her to feel like, you know, she has done the work, you know, we're all on a healing journey. That's why it's called a journey. There is no destination. But I feel like she's at the beginning of her healing journey, and she's still got a lot to kind of like unpack and like deal with and like understand, because the reason why you keep talking about it, the reason why you keep addressing it, is because this is still at the forefront of your mind. This is still impacting you. You're still so affected by it, that you just keep talking about it. So, you know, maybe go and, you know, continue doing the work until you get to a point where you lead with something else that's not your trauma. You know, you lead with just you and yourself. So yeah, she's just slightly entitled, but she's not the men's cup of tea, unfortunately. Poor babes, like she thought that she was going to be.
Thank you, Lorraine. Appreciate that as well. Just to prove, I was saying in the chat, what does bee's knees mean? If someone says you're the bee's knees, they think I'm winding them up and being funny. What does the bee's knees mean, Lorraine?
Oh, it means that you're the ish, like you're that girl, you're that guy, like.
And that's what I said. But Kojo want to give the whole literal, well, bees carry honey on their legs, and that's where the sweet spot is. So bees are no, yeah, I get it, but it just means that you're desirable. She wants to be desirable. So thank you for your
next best thing to sliced bread, like I said.
For the English version of what bees need.
Thank you guys for that.
We had to get the biology lesson in it all. I mean, we don't respond to nothing that long. We got like 6, 7, 8 lines.
What do you say, Sean? The bees carry the pollen on their knees, and so they transfer to the other trees.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was actually joking when I wrote it. I actually was winding you guys up. It was an absolute lie. I didn't know, but it actually genuinely. I typed it in Google, and it's true. They carry pollen on their knees. That's why we say in UK, mind your beeswax. Mind your own business. What's on my knees? Don't worry about what's on my knees. You need to worry about what's on yours.
Too, our soon to across the pond friend, we say that right here in the U.S.
Guys, try some bee's knees. It might taste good. All right, thank you, Lorraine. I thought Jenny was actually joking, and I realized that it generally is actually an explanation for they have it on their knees. Brittany, yeah, go for it. What's your thoughts? Not to bee's knees, but to Shakira and LJ. What's your thoughts?
Shakyra is too sensitive right now, and it's not. I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just unfortunately whatever she went through, it's still affecting her presently. I don't think she really necessarily knows it. She probably in her mind thinks she's healed, but the way she carries on and the way she talks about it, the way she's affected by what other people do to her, it affects her in a very painful way. It's one thing to be a single mom and dating, to make sure you pick the right person for your son. But it's another thing to be a single mom, have a son, and still be affected by their father presently. So just like Jay said and Lorraine said, I mean, honestly, what she's doing is based on her being guarded. And is she saying she gonna walk away? Like, nobody really cares. If you like Jay said, if you want to do it. Because men, when you guys hear that, if you don't actually do it, they're not gonna care. They're gonna keep carrying on and doing what they want to do with you because you don't mean what you say. So she has to be very careful with that aspect too. But yeah, she's not healed. I mean, it's clearly still affecting her. I get that she doesn't want people to talk about it, but you're kind of in a space where people are going to talk about it, and that is that is a concerning factor, to take into account when you're dating someone. But nobody really knows how bad it is, but they're starting to see it because of the way she's talking about it and how she's affected by it and how she's carrying on. It's almost as if it's dragging her in a way. And at first I liked her. I still do. I think she's a cool person, healed, but she's not. So, when she gets to that place of being healed, I'm tired of using the word. I think she'll be better to date. But right now, she's too fragile. Because somebody can literally break her if they don't handle her in the way that she thinks she should be handled. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. LJ, I mean, if he ain't call her back, he ain't call her back. Move on, sis. I don't know what else to tell her. I know she felt like they had some kind of connection, but there's a way to talk about it, and I'm sure maybe he would have fixed it. But the way she approached it, I don't think he was really feeling it necessarily. So, Shakyra, I don't think this is the time for her to be dating. That's just what it is.
Definitely. Absolutely, definitely. Definitely agree with that as well. JR, thank you, Brittany. What's your thoughts? This is cat pajamas. This person's definitely British. They're definitely bringing out all the British terms. JR, what's your thoughts?
Okay, I think Shakyra is leading with her trauma on every single episode. And it seems like with everybody she speaks to, every connection she tries to make, it plays a huge role in the conversation that she starts, right? I think that she made a good start with a connection with Samson, but obviously over the last couple of episodes, it's kind of dwindled where they've gone off to meet other people or whatever. I'm not sure that she's actually interested in LJ like that at all. But I also think that LJ isn't completely interested in her either. I've noticed that his energy with Looney is up there. Like, he's very interested in Looney. He's talking about what potentially they might do on a date, go scuba diving, all this other stuff, right? But he didn't even give Shakyra a call back. And also, I'm noticing a particular theme. Just like we spoke about Justice, he didn't appreciate the late night call from Kaden. LJ might not have appreciated the late night call from Shakyra because he may have feared that she would have started going off about her trauma late night, and that's her conversation piece. So he's trying to avoid that type of connection, you know. So I think she may also have, and I know everybody has this, but just because we're particularly focusing on her, I think she may have some insecurity based on the trauma she's experienced as well. She's trying to get back out into the dating world. She's trying to meet guys. And on this format, you have 7, 8 guys in one space, and it's your chance to put yourself out there as a lady and try and get chosen, I guess, right? So she's using the opportunity, but this to me indicates that she isn't healed at all, because in the format she would like to be in, moving on from the previous situation she had, she's presenting herself in a way that all she does is bring it up. And that is going to deter guys from wanting to seek a connection with her, because they may feel like they're going to be her agony uncle, doting on her too much, ready with the Kleenex all the time, have to watch their words because she's so sensitive. And I'm not sure that I'm picking up from any of the guys whether that's the type of connection they want in the girl that they want to be with on the show.
I'm pretty neat. Appreciate it, JR. All right, that's it. Someone said yes, very true, JR. Okay, they're feeling what you're saying, bro. They are picking up what you're putting down. Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, Shakira, LJ. I think
we ain't gonna ask me. We ain't gonna ask me.
Sorry. Beyonce needs. Talk to us.
It's the bee's knees. It's the bee's knees.
The bee's knees.
Well,
Talk to us. No, that's Catwoman knees.
So I couldn't put my finger on it until my girl Lorraine, hey boo, until Lorraine said it, entitled. Like, I'm in a cross between entitled and coddled. Like, no man wants to have to coddle a woman, or anyone for that matter, if they're actually trying to pursue them and date them, right? And at the same time, it seems as though you are looking for grace, everyone to extend grace to you. And then when the men are talking to you, you're not extending any grace to them. There's very many reasons why LJ might seem like a flirt. Like, he's a Caribbean guy. Like, Caribbean men have that little je ne sais quoi about themselves that might seem like they're overly flirtatious. Like, it's a cultural difference there too. So I think she was like a little unfair to kind of label him like that, because clearly we've seen he has a profound interest in Looney. Another thing that I don't like about it, and you said it, you ladies said it last week, it was why you ain't call me. This week is why you ain't call me. Oh, I did call you. I am not about to be begging nobody to call me. Like, if we are friend zone, we just gonna be friend zone, and we gonna keep it moving, and I'm gonna seek out my other connections. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, why you didn't call me? Oh, I'm gonna walk away. We know when people say I'm gonna walk away, it's for 2 reasons. One is because I'm about to pop off and I need to remove myself from here ASAP. Or 2, I just want to be rude as hell right now, and I just want to let you know that you are not worthy of another breath out of my body. So for me, it's like we gotta present ourselves in one way, and I think it's kind of being a little unfair and judgy-ish towards the men, but at the same time, it's our testimony, right? We all have testimonies. I do not see in the conversation with the other ladies where she felt like they threw her under the bus because of her situation. On one hand, I don't see it as she was throwing you under the bus. I think she was trying to politely say, oh, I can understand why she's leaving right now. This might be too intense for her. On the other hand, I can see what she was saying, like, oh, don't bring this up in front of the men. So I don't even know. But it's like, you can't be the slice of bread and want to be coddled at the same time. Like, which one is it? And I mean, that's as gingerly as I can put it, because I can respect, trauma, and, I'm not anybody to judge where you are on the healing stick. So I never like to say who needs to be healed or where they are in their journey. But I do feel like, Come on, girl. If you want the same grace you expect, you got to give to.
Can I add, Kojo? Because I just realized something.
Very quickly,
I just realized that with what's it, Shakyra? How you say her name? Shakyra? I don't know. Okay, so Shakyra, when you can tell when someone is healed and when they're not. When they're healed, they'll know who to tell their story to. When people aren't, they're literally telling everybody, but you think it's a safe place and you think somebody's not going to say anything. But like Kadeem did, she took her story and told, it said, just little bits and pieces. I don't think she told the whole thing, but the point is, Shakyra doesn't even know when and where to tell her story. I feel like if she was in a space where she was good, she would only tell it to the guy or guys that she felt were an option for her, like a real option potentially. Outside of that, and then she can trust them. Outside of that, I don't think she would have said anything at all. That's just me. I know I wouldn't tell anybody what is very, very deep and close to my heart that has literally torn me apart at one point in my life, because I don't know who I can trust with that information, right? You don't tell people things like that unless you know you can trust them, and if you see something with them, even with a friend, somebody you potentially see as being a good friend, you wouldn't tell them your personal information like that because you don't know if they can take it and throw it in your face. I mean, that's pretty much what she's afraid of. She's trying to see who she can trust. And right now, this is not the time for her to do that yet, because everybody's still kind of playing the field. They're still trying to figure some things out. But I would wait to tell something like that until it was the right time. Or, you guys have gotten to know each other to a certain point, and you'll know if someone is mature enough to hear it. That doesn't necessarily mean they want to deal with it, but at least hear it and take it in.
Now, I'm not disagreeing with you, Britt, but I'm going to say it like this. When you are in a healed space, it doesn't matter what time you say whatever you're going to say. It doesn't matter who you say it to, because if they bring it up, you're not going to be affected by it because it doesn't hit you the same anymore. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to hurt you to hear that person say it at all, because like she said, that is her story to tell. That's her place to tell her business or whatnot. And I think a lot of her emotion came in that moment was from that. It's because this is not your story to tell. This is my story. So how dare you do that? But at the same time, there's a little bit of hurt behind it why she goes later on to say, all these people know my story and all this, because we haven't even begun to heal from it. And yes, you're right. You should have some discernment on who you tell. But when you actually get to a place where I'm past that, it doesn't matter who I tell. This is my testimony. I'll tell the whole world if I have to. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't hurt me anymore. I can just help the next person or whatnot. And she just needs to start taking the first steps to even get to a place to say, I know who to trust with my story. I know when to tell my story. And when somebody else try to throw it back in my face, I'm not hurt by it anymore. And we need to get her there. And she's just not yet. And part of it, I feel like a little bit of that is she's gotten used to the victim role. And I'm not victim shaming for y'all that's going to try to come for it. I'm not victim shaming. But I'm just saying sometimes people get used to that position and they don't know how to get out of it. And so that's their go-to card. As soon as things come up is automatically, let me jump into this role instead of saying, let me be a big girl and just take with this and move on. So she got a bit of work to do, but we all do. It is what it is.
I absolutely agree. It's just about knowing how to handle yourself when you are in a space that she's in. And right now, it just sounds like either way she goes, whether it's what I said or what you said, it's going to hurt. And the point is, I don't think she should be there because it's too much for her at the moment. And somebody that can be in that space, it can. I'm not saying this is what she's going to do, but it can be very detrimental to her. And she may explode at some point. I don't know how that's going to, it doesn't have to be a big thing, but it'll make it'll end up turning into something that everyone else looks at as if it's not a big deal necessarily. Like you know, relax. It's not that bad type of thing. But for her, it is. And everybody may not see that for her.
Can I just chime in really quickly? I think she I think she's a clever woman. I really do. I think because she feels like she brings a lot to the table and she sees herself this certain way, and she then came onto the show with a background story as well. So I feel like the combination of this is how I see myself and also her story, her truth, she also felt like that was going to give her some kind of edge. So I think that's another reason why she was leading with that. I think it was an intentional thing. I don't think it had anything to do with discernment or, you know, whether she's healed or not. Like I said, I don't think anyone will ever be healed of anything, of any trauma, of whatever you've been through. You'll never get to a destination. That's why it's a journey. So I don't think it's going to do with discernment. I think that was an intentional thing to say, this is my story. I feel like with reality TV, everyone has a character and everyone has a story that they're coming with to say, this is my story, this is my story. I think she was coming in there to say, I am kind of going to speak about my story and this is going to be my thing. Or that's going to give me a bit of an edge. And also her kind of mindset and mind frame of like, you know, I have, you know, I'm the bee's knees and, you know, I'm all this. So I think it was a combination of the two, and she was trying to use that to her advantage. And the reason why she's going to keep talking about it in the next episode is because, again, I'm trying to be. I was trying to be sensitive to her. It's because it's going to keep on giving her some airtime. It's going to keep on putting her at the forefront of the conversation. Of, you know, because there's nothing else going for her. She doesn't really have any kind of storyline besides her story and her background. So I think she's a clever woman. She's intentional. She knew exactly what she was doing, which is why she wanted it to come from her. She wanted the stage and the platform. This is now me being judgmental. I'm sorry. She wanted the stage and the platform to be able to present it in a certain way, because, you know, she had already decided that this is going to be in addition, you know, not to use it to advantage, but to use it to advantage, I think.
I mean, it can get pretty old soon, though, to the guys. Like, it just, not even to the guys, everybody, with the way she's carrying on with it. That's just it. Whether she wants attention, she's intentional or not. When you keep talking about stuff like that and carrying on with it and just being emotional, period, it's exhausting. Nobody wants to be around that all the time. It's different when you're telling your story and people ask you about it and you give them like little bits and pieces because you don't want to say too much. But if somebody asks, that's different. But if you continue to act out of your pain and you bleed on people, nobody wants to hear that for too much longer. And I care about people so much, but honestly, it becomes a lot. And then it wears on me. And I'm pretty sure it's going to wear on them. So nobody in there in close quarters a lot. It's not going to work. Not for her. Even if she has a plan with it, whatever. It's not going to go in the way in her favor. Let's just say she ain't going to last too much longer.
Joe, go for it. Yeah, you want to say something?
I was going to say, actually, I think she could be leading with her story, her trauma, as a way to appeal to the guy's sensitive sides. Yeah. So one of the ways that she may be trying to vet the type of guy that she ends up with or wants to date, she'll lead with her trauma and see how the guys cover her in that particular aspect, right? Because they'll have to take on, you know, not only her unhealed stuff that she's probably still going through on a daily, but also look to have a future with her. So when she leads with the with what she's been through. I think it's a bad habit that she has, because just like Brittany said, it's going to get tiring at some point. And some people, you know, they may think that's too much, too early to be told about, you know, to have that burden or that responsibility where now they have to kind of mollycoddle everything they say to her or act around her, and they can't really be authentic. I don't know. But one of the common themes I've detected, particularly from this season so far, is there seems to be a lot of people trying to dish it, but they can't take it. So what I'm referring this to specifically is when Kaden was talking, she was going at Mike again over his situation, right? She's going at him, like kind of chastising him, rubbing it in again. You know, Mike, you've got kids and that's too much and da-da-da-da-da-da, right? But she didn't even have the presence of mind to realize that Shakyra's sitting right there. And even though Mike's situation is different because he's got more kids and he was married previously and whatnot, it's a different situation. But they both, Mike and Shakyra, shown at times that that is a particularly sensitive subject for them both. So for Kaden to be going off at Mike and Shakyra's right there, I can see why Shakyra was just like, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this because this is going to turn messy. Like, you're going to get me riled up and I'm going to say something. And being how Kaden is, like, she is very, she's very, I want to say attacking. Like, she's very, I said what I said and you're going to listen to what I say and that's it. If you don't like it, then tough. That's the type of attitude and energy Kaden brings. So there's no sensitivity when talking about these particular issues that Mike and Shakyra may be going through on a day-to-day, because someone like Kaden, man, she don't want to hear it. You know, she doesn't care. Yeah, so, and the reason why I say dish it but can't take it as well is because last week Kaden was upset that the guys had been giving their opinions on her and how she came across, and she didn't like it one bit. She called them weak. She used other terms to kind of put them down and dismiss what they were saying. She didn't want to hear Swayze out when he was basically giving her constructive criticism in order to progress on the show because she wasn't being eliminated. So she didn't even take that well. So for her to be constantly giving her assessment on other people but not liking it when it's been given to her, I find that a major theme on this show. Every time her or Charisse open up their mouths, it's exactly that type of energy. In fact, Mike had to even apologize to Charisse for the way he made her feel last week when she was coming at him. But Mike had to apologize. I did not see her apologize at all for what she said to him, even after he apologized to her. So, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. That was an observation I made. So, yeah, that's my take.
Appreciate it, Joe. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, let's get into the next clip. I like that. Since you took it there, we must go there, shan't we? Yeah? Since you took it there, we must go there. I was going to ask that question about Kaden, do you know what I mean? Because obviously that was a scene that was happening between herself, Mike, and Jamala. They had a conversation at a table, and I think Kaden was pointing out a little something. Let's have a look at that clip here, shall we?
To the bottom, y'all got a better understanding of each other now. Sometimes it just takes communication.
That.
She wanted you to hear her out, and I think you did that. And that says something about your character as a man again.
As a black man, too, I'm going to take it there.
Okay, there's a second clip I'm going to play. I'll give it 10 seconds because I don't want no copyrights, okay? I don't know, they struck me once already this month, okay? I can get struck again, okay? But the second clip here, this was a conversation between, obviously, the three of them again. And actually, Shakyra gets up and leaves after Kaden kind of alludes to the fact that she's also been...
I understand.
No, Shakyra.
I stay away from conversations like this because I don't want to deal with anybody else's drama.
Yeah, I don't want to cook up no mess.
It ain't no mess.
So I want to ask a question. Did Khadian out Shakira's situation? Was Khadian out of order for kind of mentioning Shakira's situation? Did she even mention her situation, or did she just allude to it? Like, what was your thoughts around that particular conversation? Was Khadian in some mess? Or did you actually see Khadian's point of view? You know what I mean? I wanna get your thoughts. I wanna get your thoughts. Who wants to go for the bee's knees first, eh? Huh? Who wants to take the bee's knees off? Why are you all looking at me like it? Why are you acting like you lot don't have to speak right now? What's wrong with you lot? Are you lot all right?
I'll go first, 'cause I was already going to mention this part about Shakyra, but I didn't really hear Katie say too much. I get why Shakyra felt the way she felt, but she didn't really say any detail. And honestly, I was gonna ask y'all this anyway. Did she even tell us her story yet? Because I feel like she's stringing everybody along. I just want to know what happened. Like, I want to know everything. Because I just feel like I'm being strung along. I want to know the whole story. She keeps saying this and that happened, but there's no facts. And I would like to know her backstory, but I don't know nothing. But either way, with Khadian, I keep saying people's name wrong. I don't think it was right for her to say anything at all, regardless of how much she said. But I mean, Shakyra had every right to feel the way she felt. I mean, that's her story, and especially in the space that she's in. However, depending on where you are, right, with her being as sensitive as she is based on what she's been through, you know, clearly her actions show that it's still very much an open wound. And, you know, she ain't ready to talk about it in front of everybody. Not in an open space like that, especially in front of a man, so to speak. But, I don't know. It's right and wrong. They both have their choice of doing what they want to do, but Katie should have never said anything at all. And yeah, I need to know Shakyra, whatever her name is, real story. I want to like her. I do, because in the beginning I was excited to see her. I thought she was fun, bubbly, but now that this thing with her story has kind of found its way in there, I'm getting a little annoyed. So I don't know. I just want to see. I want to know what really happened at this point, because you keep dragging it. So let's hear it. But that's her choice to do.
Cool. Thank you. Cheers for that, Brittany. Appreciate that. The rest, anyone else want to go? Or the cat got everybody's tongue. Stacey, what are you telling me?
Well, I mean, I don't think she tried to throw under the bus. I mean, she probably could have used a little more tact when, I think she was like, oh, like, don't be offended that she's leaving. It's just too much, whatever. I mean, but really what y'all missing is Jamala bringing up other people's business at the table anyway. Like, why bring up the whole Charisse thing? And again, like, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, how, you just trying to, you playing the game. And really, Mike pissed me off last week anyway. I mean, y'all can say what y'all want, and I'm sure I'm going to get it, but that's nothing new. I mean, he was just out of line for how he blew up anyway. And I didn't like it. As a person myself who does have kids, I can understand when I'm dating why someone may be a little bit on the fence. You don't know what my situation was or how it ended with my ex. I don't think that what Charisse was saying in that moment was saying, oh, your kids are baggage. But we all have heard about baby mama, baby drama, baby daddy drama. And that's some type of damage that you do want to veer away from. So, like, Mike was very judgmental that we've seen of him about all the women. Like, he got a problem with somebody eating ribs. He got a problem with, you didn't read me right. I got a problem with how you're saying what you're saying. And I'm not even going to let you fully articulate yourself. I'm just going to assume that I know what you mean by this and not let you, clean it up so I can fully understand it. So, I mean, this whole in exchange started with Jamala trying to kind of being like, oh, I see your character. You know, I think it was more of a, you know, attention, hey, you know, I see you type thing. But, you know, the whole Shakyra's thing kind of got in the crosshairs. I don't think it was anything malicious. And I do understand what Tommy was saying about what goes on in the ladies' lounge. But I mean, it's fair game. It's all open information. You know, you're opening the Pandora's box, and you don't know what anyone else's intentions are when you're telling, you know, such close kept information like that, when you're saying it to the public. So, I mean, ultimately, I don't think she meant any harm. I can see how it can be taken in a harmful way. That's all I'm saying.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Stacey. Yep, I hear you. Maybe, I mean, I have a different point of view. I think Kaden is sneaky like that, but that's just my personal opinion. Get me? Sure. What's your thoughts, Kaden? Did she try to expose Shakyra, or was it just one of those slip of the tongue things, or just her just being genuinely, you know?
Nah, I think she was being messy. You know, I think she was being messy. She's been a very loud, outspoken person up to this point. So I haven't seen anything that proves it otherwise. I've saw how she went to town on them ribs. That's all I need to see. You know, she gonna attack life in the same manner, and that's what she did with little Flower Child, as they dubbed her in the chats, business. And although, you know, she's annoying me a little bit with all the drama, I feel bad that, you know, whatever it was, she, you know, was exposed. So, you know, I don't think anything, you know, no matter what, it should be exposed in that way. So that's my opinion.
I hear that still, bro. Definitely hear that still. I do think, you know, she was being a little bit cheeky, so I definitely hear that, Cap. Definitely hear that. Okay, Jay, what's your thoughts on this?
I say people that like to talk too much. I like to hear that, like they like to hear themselves talking and whatnot. And I think that's what Kadian's problem is. I don't think she had total ill intent on it, because that is a sensitive subject or whatnot. But I just think she talks too much, and so a lot of things come out of her mouth probably at the wrong time. The thing with that too is that we didn't get what was said. And so I feel like editing, this is going to be the one time I credit editing for it, left out a lot, because I think it probably went down the dark road after a while with Kadian. And what we got in that edited clip is just like she talking too much. But I think it went down that dark road somehow, because Randall later on is even talking about, you went through this and that and all these things like that. So that's how it's like, for real, it got out. You know, in that moment, she probably spoiled the whole thing, but editing coddled her a bit. And I don't want to say coddled, but, you know, they covered her a bit by leaving out whatever the thing is or whatnot. And I've been noticing that it seems that she has told more of the story, but editing is probably protecting her a bit by not putting it all out there, because they can see that she's not even ready to deal with this, the real full backlash that you can get by putting this type of business out there or whatnot. So, and on top of it, she got a kid. So whatever she went through, maybe she don't want her child to know later on. So some things out of respect, you don't want to put on air. So I won't say that Kadian didn't say too much and tell too much of her business, which I probably really want to say that she did. I just feel like what we got in the edited version wasn't much. And it did seem like an overreaction from her. But if we didn't get that part with Randall later on, I would have just assumed that she was just in her feelings. She's overreacting and she's still not in a good space to really deal with this. But because Randall somehow knew and he wasn't involved with that conversation right there and there, that means they're talking in the background. Somebody's telling all her business. And to be honest, it might not even be Kadian at this point. She might have just been the one that was right there saying stuff. It might be somebody else. Because Kadian is not one of Randall's prospects, but we know that she be hitting people up and talking to everybody, because according to Justine, you know, she was in his DMs. So I don't know. Well, I guess next week we'll find out who's running their mouth on her business.
I hear that 100%. I hear that 100%. Yeah, definitely. I definitely think Kayden, just doesn't know time and season. And, again, we're back here again. The whole Devon situation has popped up once more again. He's just talking someone's business. It's like, baby, I need you to have a little bit of emotional intelligence just to be aware that this comment wasn't needed. You know what I mean? Could have just said, listen, hey, look, Mike, just let her go. She's dealt with some stuff. Let's just go. And I leave it as, and I think as well, she did definitely add some extra stuff on there because of what Randall was saying later on, which means there was more said. You know what I mean? Which means the edit's been kind to you because they ain't showed it all. Do you know what I mean? So, that's. But my thing is, again, Shakyra, why the hell did you share it with the girls in the first place? I am so confused. What do you like? You out here telling people that the girls not going to say nothing. If you know human beings who don't know you from Adam, of course you're going to tell the other guys. Of course, it's going to come up in conversation. You know what I mean? Like you, it's like I'm going to tell the girls a secret and expect the girls not to talk about it to the guys. It's going to come out. Like if you tell the girls, you tell the guys even, the guy's going to tell the girls. This is normal human being behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like you out here telling a room full of people your thing, it's going to come out. And not just that, you told the TV. So you're even lucky. I don't know if they took the edit out or you told the TV. So baby, you ain't really, but again, I think that speaks to the fact that she wasn't healed. So when she left the table, I was like, but I get her point too. Kayden just speaks too much. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hell Kayden was even talking to Mike for. He already told you he doesn't like your energy. I don't know what's going on there. You know what I mean? So that's one too many. You know what I mean?
But you ain't lying, Kojo, because just from me being on the show, what do we know? It's been how many 7 seasons, and what do we know? Women and men go back and discuss things in the lounges. You know who's at whose top. You know who's at whose bottom. You know what was said, especially if it's someone you have a connection to. Truth be told, they probably already discussed this prior. It's already been floating in the air prior to this moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, but history shows that people have discussed things out of the lounges. So as much as you want it to be a safe space, that's not the kind of safe space that you're seeking. Because I think women are competing. You're competing. And you're going to look for leverage and you're going to look for an edge, men and women. So let's be real about it. We're not that naive. I'm not giving anybody that level of naivete at all.
Jay, go for it.
No, I was just going to speak on Khadian and that point as well. Dang, I had lost my thought just now. Hold on, come back to me.
Take your time. No rush. Take your time.
Do you want me to go, Jay, and then you can go?
Yeah, go ahead, because they got to come back to me, because I forgot what happened, what the Kojo had mentioned. She had did something, and it was a point to that.
Okay, I'll go. I don't understand this whole segment anyway. I don't understand that scene. Why was it set up? Why were they even talking about the whole Mike situation anyway? Was it before or after he's already apologized to the other lady? I just don't understand it. Was it, I don't know, we're scared to get sued and what people are going to say about, black men doing this, that, and the other. So let's set up the scene where I just didn't understand the point of that scene in the first place. But Katie, just was loving it. She took the opportunity again to be preaching and to be telling somebody else what they're doing wrong and what they should do instead. Like, I don't even know what she does for a living, but she must be in education, because she's always trying to teach somebody, or always trying to, show somebody, oh, you do this and you got to be careful because of this and this, that, and the other. And, because of what already happened with her and Mike, I was just like, what, is this coming from a place of love or just a place of, I'm trying to put you in your place? So I don't really understand that conversation. And, kudos to Mike for just sitting there, being open, taking it and all of that kind of stuff. I know it just wasn't Kadeem who spoke about it. Even Jamala was also speaking about it. But just even from the body language of Kadeem, like she was just already like this, like she was ready to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna go there, kind of thing. So even though they were both speaking about it, her stance was more of like, I'm about to put you in your place, kind of thing. So I can actually see why Shakyra would have been uncomfortable with that whole conversation, to say, you know what, I don't really understand, because that was my thing when it was happening. I don't understand why are they even talking about this. So I understood her being uncomfortable about it. I just didn't understand her making a scene about the fact that she was leaving. If you're going to leave, just get up and go. Or you can just sit there and not say anything. But clearly the conversation was too uncomfortable that she didn't want to be there. I just don't think that you have to make a thing, like excuse yourself. Just be like, oh, you know, I'm going, this, that, and the other. So that was that. Katie, I didn't understand why she said, oh, I completely understand because of what you've been through. I feel like she has mentioned what happened. I don't think that they have shown us yet. I feel like she has told the ladies in the lounge, because that scene where she was crying and everything, but they were showing us cut scenes of what she was saying. So when she was on her own, but they weren't showing what they were talking about. So I feel like she's already disclosed her trauma and what happened in the ladies' lounge, which is why Katie knew about it and knew that this is probably why it's impacting her. That's why she said that, which is why I'm saying that because of what she said, it kind of eluded what her trauma is. I'm not going to say what it is, but it kind of eluded what it is from what Katie said, in terms of what she's been through. I just don't think, even though I've said all this stuff about Shakyra wanting a platform, this, that, and the other, that's her story to tell. I just thought that was a bit inappropriate. How can you say, oh yeah, you go ahead and leave? I can understand, you know, because of what you've been through. Yeah, it might be a bit much for you. So I just don't think she's emotionally intelligent or just socially aware of like when to say certain things, how to say certain things. I don't think in that moment, personally, she meant it in a horrible way. I don't think it was like I'm trying to like put you down, or I'm trying to like show up, go have one up you or anything like that. I just don't think that she's aware, bless her, in terms of like what she was doing, and she understood the impact that might have on somebody, and the fact that that's not her place. But like I said, I think I mentioned it, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I'm really, really interested about Kayla's story. Like, I really hope that in the next episode we start to get to know a bit more about her and her background, just because of how she is and just like socially unaware that she is. Like, it will be really interesting to find out a bit more about her and what her story is. She just seems very much in her own world, in her little bubble, very much black and white. There's no gray area with her. That's what I see. I don't think it was intentional. It just wasn't her place, and I don't think Shakyra was too sensitive in that specific situation.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Wait, before you do, Stacey, Jay's got to go before she forgets. Have you got the point? Sorry, Stacey.
I'm sorry, I'm having brain force over here. Y'all gotta bear with me. You know, it's old age. You know, I'm turning going around the sun soon again. So, you know, old age. But it was more so the fact that it was when you said Khadian over here telling Mike about himself, but it's just like, sis, you're telling somebody about themselves, but you got a way about you. And as soon as somebody try to tell you about yourself, you have a problem. So it's like those that can't always want to teach. And it's like, stop trying to teach other people unless you're trying to take the lesson yourself. Like, don't tell me how to take a test if you don't know the answers. Like, sis, stop playing with us right now. You have no right be telling Mike anything. Just sit up and listen, you know. And I get where she's coming from in that moment. She was saying some good stuff about, you know, you're a black man in this world, and you know, certain looks that you give or the certain behaviors that you put out there, it's all bad. But sis, you're a black woman in this world. Certain behaviors that you put out there got the red pill and the manosphere going crazy. So let's just look in the mirror sometimes when we start telling people about themselves. We gotta listen to ourselves at the same time. That's all.
Appreciate Jay. Yep, I hear that. I definitely hear that. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. You and Jay said similar things. I like that. You and Jay are on the same
But that
path.
was
Yes, Stacey,
that
go for
was
the question.
that was my question. It's slipping my mind at this moment. Can one of y'all tell me an example of one of the unsolicited advisements she had given before? Because I can't put my finger on it.
That was Devin.
Oh God, yes. Okay, I'm up to speed. Okay.
That's all right. Go for it, Brittany.
I wanted to add to Stacey's point earlier. And my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were finished because you took a pause. But basically, that the part about Shakyra telling her story and being on the show, this is also a game. So you got to be careful about how much information you give, because there are people who have intentions of taking your information and kind of, making you look bad so that they can get you out. It depends on the person. I'm not saying people are like that on the show, but you got to be careful when it comes to things like that. And also with Mike, I don't know about y'all, Mike. Something a little off to me with him. I don't know, especially after looking at his Instagram. He just I don't like how he responds sometimes. It throws me off. Something about him throws my spirit off just a little bit. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it yet, but I don't know, it seems as though when people say something to him about who he is, again, about pointing the finger, he gets a little flustered and upset. So because I feel like maybe he doesn't know how to respond, it comes off rude. And I don't know, Mike. I'm not really feeling Mike. Mike is a little annoying to me. My thing is like, don't let the muscles fool you, kind of thing, ladies. Like I feel like he got something going on with him, and we don't know necessarily what it is until he speaks on it. He's closed off for sure. He's very intentional about what he says too, because I don't think he wants to put out too much of his truth yet. And it could be because he doesn't want to say it to everyone and he wants to say it to the right person. Or maybe he just doesn't want to see it on TV. And yeah, somebody just said red flags. He definitely has some red flags. And because I can't figure them out, I wouldn't even touch it. I just leave him where he is. But yeah, that's just the gist of it. Everybody out here pointing fingers, but don't know how to take criticism or be corrected. So.
Okay. Quick one, JR. Yeah, jump in quick. Really
quick.
Go for it.
I was just going to say, speaking of red flags, Khadian is a red flag. Like, she's not safe space to confide anything into. She can't be trusted to just be in the vicinity where people are discussing things, because she goes and uses it against them or forms an opinion against them, which she later uses to make disparaging remarks and comments. So Khadian's a walking red flag. I think Mike, the problem with Mike is he gets too invested. He doesn't know these girls, and they are being very judgmental and critical, very judgy indeed. So in a way, he's trying to match their energy. When Charisse came at him, he tried to match her energy right back at her. He gets called out for petty. She doesn't, because we've seen that behavior from her before. So we've kind of normalized it already. But ultimately, when he apologized, Charisse didn't apologize. Right? And one of the things that Khadian did at that table when Shakyra and Jamala was there is she's telling a black man how to be a black man. He already is a black man. He's a grown man with a past marriage and 3 kids. He doesn't need to be told what a black man is or supposed to do. But he was very contrite in that instance and sat down and took what was given to him at that time. But Khadian didn't have any business going at him again. And it's just habitual with her. She went at Devin. She's gone at Mike more than once, 2 or 3 times, in fact. So she just isn't a safe place. And with Shakyra, I just want to say that not only did she disclose her trauma in the ladies' lounge with the ladies, but she had a very in-depth discussion and conversation with Samson when they first sat down to talk to each other. Again, there was waterworks. She was crying, but she opened up extensively about her situation to him. So for it to be a consistent theme where she's constantly referring back to it, means she's not over it. And also, once she's told Samson and she's told the ladies, then pretty much all the guys and all the ladies know, because Samson's going to go back to the guys' lounge. He's going to disclose certain things about their time together. That is going to be a crucial thing that he talks about, because she's made it so important. And then the ladies, they're in competition for the men. Not obviously fighting, but to a degree, they're trying to make connections with a guy that somebody else might have connections with. So they're trying to look the most favorable. Ultimately, Khadian isn't looking favorable to a lot of the guys. We've already established that. She got put in the bottom last week. So whatever her plan is, it's backfiring. Unless she's planning to just run off into the sunset with Swayze. It's not working for her. And making these disparaging remarks around Shakyra, knowing that she's as sensitive as she is, even though she was going at Mike, it was an indirect hit. It was like a ricochet. She fired the bullet at Mike and it inadvertently hit Shakyra instead. And Shakyra did the right thing by leaving, because it could have escalated. So that's my 2 cents.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you, JR. We're going to move on to the next clip. Guys, I'm going to limit you guys to 2 minutes. When it gets to 2 minutes, I'm going to shout pineapples. Okay? Yeah, I'm going to limit you to 2 minutes. So get your point in 2 minutes. Once it gets to 2 minutes, I'm going to pineapple it and mute you. Yeah? So once I say pineapples, that's you've got 10 seconds left. Pineapple means 10 seconds left. And then I'm muting you. All right? Cool? Because time is flying. It's going. And there's a few clips that we have to get through. So, all right. Let's get to the next clip. Because you guys kind of spoke about it a little bit already. It was the situation with Mike and Charisse. Want to get your kind of thoughts on that.
A little hurt because I thought his approach was aggressive.
You can come a little closer.
Put the foot down. Put the foot
Let's have
down.
a career conversation for real.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on on the situation with Mike and Charisse? He apologized. Also, he did put an F in the apology, to be honest. He did put an F. But what was your kind of thoughts on Charisse and Mike? And I'm going to play one more clip so you guys can get a bit more context on what I'm saying here for you guys as well.
Apologize if I said anything to make you feel uncomfortable or afraid to talk.
You know, you scared me a little bit. You was like, why ain't your birth? You 45, you a red flag.
Red flag gonna play. Red flag gonna play. Jay, what are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say, regardless if you guys want to agree or not, you know, he apologized. Period. You know, sometimes people don't know the best way to apologize, the right way to apologize, what words to use, but he apologized. He has no problem saying it. That's what he says, and we're gonna go with that. As far as Charisse goes, though, she's a problem. Okay. First of all, you're saying that he was being all aggressive and all this thing. Like, woman, you just called this man's kids baggage. We don't know what position he is in. Some people will be sensitive to certain things. You can't talk about some people's fur babies and they'll go crazy. You know, so you just got to be careful on how people are going to take to the words you say when you say it. And there was no apology from her side when it got down to it. Like, she could apologize for the way what she said, the wording that she used, how she came across herself. They both was wrong in that moment. And that just showed how she really is going to be in a relationship, that she going to come to you and say it's all your fault. You did this and that and the third, and she's not going to take ownership on her end of anything. So that's all I'm going to say on that one.
Okay. Appreciate it, Jay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Remember, guys, I will be keeping to a 2-minute limit, and I will pineapple you if you go over limit. Thank you, Jay, for staying within the time limit. All right, let's get it going. All right, cool. Let's get the Russian roulette blowing. That sounds wrong. But let's get it going. All right, cool. Seaway, welcome back. Good to see you back here. We're talking about the Mike and Charisse situation. No, you have to do your thing. Don't worry about that. You know, it's not a problem. What's your thoughts on the Mike Charisse situation?
I feel like mutual combat to me. So I don't know why anybody was apologizing. She said what she had to say. She said what she said. She meant what she said. I personally, like I said last time, she could have said it better, but I also respect what she was saying because I knew what she was saying. She just didn't say it in the way that most people probably would have said that. So, but I mean, she got her licks and he definitely got his licks back. I don't know where she's doing this, like, you know, Karen distress thing and I was intimidated thing. She did not look intimidated at all during that whole thing. So unless, you know, editing is doing editing, because they love to edit this show to the point where we never get the real deal about what's going on. But from what I could see, I don't know what she's talking about, all that rah-rah. It was mutual combat, and she stood on her 10 toes and he stood on his. So I would have respected it if she would have been like, you know, I appreciate you for apologizing. You know, I could have said it better too, you know, but we both said what we said and it is what it is.
Appreciate you. Oh, sorry, Seaway. Yeah, absolutely right. Everybody had their toes down. That's right. In the ground. Yeah. In the soil. Okay, cool. Brittany, what's your thoughts? Charisse and Mike.
I mean, Seaway and Jay pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say Charisse said what she said, and she said it the way she wanted to say it, as she usually says things. I mean, between her and Katie, they tone is just absolutely terrible. And they're, I don't know, I'll just say with Charisse, I feel like she doesn't think before she speaks. She just says what's on her mind, and she thinks it's okay. It's not, I get what she's saying. However, there's a way to say it. You don't call somebody kid's baggage. However, I get what she was saying. Then again, you can't be upset with how somebody decides to react to what you say. So, you know, you gotta be careful with how you say things. However, Charisse just says what she wants to say. And that's probably why she's still single. I mean, let's just be real, you know? And she comes off a bit abrasive as well. It's like in your face. Like, it's like either you're gonna take it or you're not. And then she gets upset if you got a problem with what she says. And I'm talking the way that she would say something like, that's literally Charisse. I'm giving you Charisse. And I'm sure y'all don't like that, you know, because I know I wouldn't. But either way, like Seaway said, they were both going at it. Like, she said her thing and he reacted. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I didn't really like how Mike reacted. However, that is how somebody reacts when you talk about their kids in that way. I don't know what else you want to get. But then again, however Mike decides to respond to anybody, I just feel like he's always defensive. Anytime I see it, and it just rubs me the wrong way. But, you know, in this situation, he did what he had to do.
Thank you very much, Brittany. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sean, you going to say it? Go for it.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, listen, I watched it back. And I also heard some of Mike's other comments and his approach. And from a man that has been told he has a tone before, I kind of understood where she was coming from, you know. And I honestly like Charisse in this aspect, because I think, like, listen, if you're being, and we said this last time about being conscious of how people receive you, right? So I think Mike needs to be conscious of how he was received, and he went to firing shots. And when you're talking to a woman, you do need to kind of check yourself. And if you're getting riled up or what have you, and it's a hot topic, sometimes you got to take a breath. Sometimes you got to be, you know, you got to take it down a few notches. To quote David, you got to bring the strength down in the room a little bit, right? You know, because sometimes it might not be a lot to you, but it could be to the person on the other end. And that's my point. And I think Charisse made her point very clear. She wasn't rah-rah. I actually liked how she articulated herself. If somebody had a problem with me, that's how I want them to approach me. And I actually happen to like it. I can separate the fact that sometimes she's always not the nicest, not the best, doesn't have the most tact. But I love how she handled the situation with Mike in this instance.
Good points. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sean. Yep. Stacey, what's your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you, Sean. I mean, what did we see the week before? She was at the bottom. She changed her approach. She tried to come with a softer, more vulnerable side of her. She was attempting to have a conversation with him, and he popped off. And he didn't even hear what she was trying to say. Like, we're human. We don't always use the right words or say things correctly. And I said it. I'm a person with 3 children too. I believe he has 3 kids. You can't expect people who don't have kids to know, there's people that co-parent in a feasible way. Like, you can't expect that. And we don't know if it's marriage or baby mamas or what it is. You know what I mean? We don't know what the rumor mill said. So then ultimately, I ain't gonna apologize back to anybody that's gonna sit here and play me like I'm dumb. I apologize if I offended you. I told you you offended me. You did do that. Just say, I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. But he couldn't even do that. Y'all know I apologize if. That is the biggest non-apology ever. Bye.
I hear that 100%.
Wait, can I ask a question? Kojo.
Huh?
She's getting an apology because of his tone, not what he said. Because she said he's a red flag, and then he said she's a red flag. So they both said each other were red flags, right? But she gets an apology because of the way he said it. And I do understand that, like, a man has to be more mindful, like Sean says, of, like, the way he talks to a woman. You're supposed to sometimes, like, be the bigger person and, not be as aggressive because your mere stature is going to be, more intimidating. But I'm just confused because they both said the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think they both should apologize, but he definitely needs to apologize because his tone was off. And not even just tone, he started doing tit for tat, and that's a bitch move. Like, we can't be doing that. Like, I get it that you're stressed, but in that moment, he says things that was like, you think she's a red flag, she shouldn't have kids, then why are you talking to her? Like, bro, like, don't respond because you're annoyed in that moment and get angry. I'm always down for, you know me, I like to keep the scores equal, but Michael's out of pocket in this particular instance where. And she actually took it quite well, I'll be honest with you. Now, she might have been poking the bear and trying to get him to come out of pocket, but she got him to come out of pocket. That's the problem. Do you know what I mean? You were going to say, Sean? Say what
I was going to say also, and how the other context I layered in there, I think there, I'm going to quote some of our good subscribers, there might be some misogynoir in there because he made that previous comment a few episodes ago saying that he likes his women to be seen and not heard. So that lets me know that he's not one of those kind of dudes that likes a lot of feedback, and that's the kind of energy he's going to come with. So you see how he kind of cut her down. Well, you 45, you a red flag, So I just think, like, you can be wrong and right at the same time. Wrong on the way you're approaching the situation, but right about being offended about what's being said to you.
He also doesn't like women who eat in public.
But I agree that he needed to apologize. I think she still needed to apologize as well. The tone, yes, as a man, coming from a man, and this is the reason I said this, is because how she reacted when she came back for the apology.
That was weird.
Had he not apologized, that story can go further as he was all in my face, he was aggressive, he was this. This is how we get men in a lot of these situations because people exaggerate stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go back and start telling everybody and leave out the part where they agitated that person to get there or whatnot. Now they running down alleys and stuff. No, let me stop. But but I'm just saying, like, this is how we get there, and the story goes more than what it was. Because even in her replay to him, the story was way more than what it was. And I'm not gonna say that's not how she took it, but what we saw was definitely not all bouncing and doing all the hands in the face gesture and all that stuff like that. He elevated a little bit and he snapped back a little bit, but yes, it wasn't all that extra she putting on it.
Yes, appreciate it, Jay. Lorraine, go for it.
Again, I didn't understand the point of this segment. Sorry, I just thought, why are we having this on camera? Maybe because that happened on camera, I just thought, I want to see people connecting and, romantic connections, like a whole segment about an apology. I just thought, whatever. But anyway, since we're here, I listened to the conversation between Mike and Charisse with my eyes closed, and because I have antennas up with tones. I've got a thing about tones, and I didn't pick up a tone. I think it was more so what he said. That was very Petty LaBelle, very much tit for tat kind of thing, as opposed to the tone in which he said it. He didn't come across as aggressive to me when I listened to it back with sort of my eyes closed and just hearing his words. So I was just a bit confused by that. But again, everyone's sort of tone meter is different. That's just my take on it. They definitely both should have apologized. They were both in the wrong, because she said whatever she said, then he said whatever he said. But I agree with everybody. If you are going to apologize, apologize. It kind of felt like he was apologizing because he was made to, which is why I mentioned it before. I don't understand this whole segment. It seemed kind of contrived. Like, let's now sit and talk about this, and let's now do this. It didn't seem like it was an authentic. Like, I really reflected and thought about it, and I really have to come to this woman and apologize for what I said to her or how I said to her. Because he said, oh, if I did this, then this. He would have just said, you know what, I've thought about this. I'm really sorry about me being petty and me saying this. I was just hurt and upset because you said this about my children. So I don't think he's sorry, even though he said in the cutaway scene, I know when I'm wrong, and I can apologize. I don't think he was sorry because subconsciously his apology would have been different.
Thank you very much, Lorraine. Appreciate it. Yep. I'm definitely hearing this. JR, have you spoken this yet? Go for it.
So I think that people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And if you're going to throw stones, don't hide your hands. And that's what Charisse did. Charisse instigated the whole debacle that went down. She tried to attack the guy basically by telling him that he's a walking red flag, or, his kids are baggage and all the rest of it, right? So I expected, as intelligent as she is, knowing that she instigated it, there should have been an apology from her as well. I'm not going to read too much into the fact that she didn't apologize, because I'm not surprised. I'll be very surprised if she was contrite enough to apologize. But I think he apologized not because he was sincere in taking back what he said. He meant what he said, but he's just trying to smooth it out and trying to call a truce, because he wants to still stay on the show for a little while, and he probably knows that how he looked didn't come out in his favor during that particular exchange. She doesn't care how she looks, because she's not making no connection with any of the guys anyway. So I definitely haven't seen a softer side of her. Maybe I'm missing it. But she is as fake as counterfeit money. Like, she is just not real. Nothing real about her. She's wrong and strong, and she wasn't held accountable enough to be able to apologize for what she said. So that to me means people should avoid her, definitely. That's my 2 cents.
No, that's cool. It's good 2 cents. That's good 2 cents, bro. Yeah, no. Listen, I personally think that first and foremost, he had to apologize, because he came out of his skin when she said what she said, right? And obviously as well, I was expecting that she would apologize in that moment as well. I think that shows. I mean, and to be fair, if I offended you, it's not an apology. I'll be honest with you. I don't accept it. I'm so sorry. I don't. If I offended you, it's not an apology. It's not even close to one. I know it sounds like it, but it's nowhere near. He didn't apologize, right? What he was doing was damage limitation, and we know that because Khadian has a conversation after by saying, as a black man, So this guy was protecting. Well, I'm sure the ladies probably got into his ear, told him, listen, the way that old girl has come back and told us a story, you might want to go and apologize, just to kind of chill the energy and, save any madness happening, because the way she's come and told us a story, right? And so I was expecting that, that Charisse would also apologize, just for the fact that you call someone's kids baggage, I know people were saying that they probably, some of them are saying they won't be offended. Wait till I call your kids baggage and see if you won't be offended. If I said to you that I'm not dating you because you got baggage, no one accepts. And I say this: if you've heard men say it, they're trash for saying it, and they say that stuff online because they're trash. But if I'm dating you in person and I say to you, well, I'm not going to date you anymore because your kids are baggage, you look at me like, how rude, how dare you? No one should be calling anyone's kids baggage. We understand what we mean, right? And that's why she should have just, that's why I was expecting that when he apologized, she also would have apologized. That told me a lot about Charisse. That told me a lot about the fact that when it comes to you two, you have a lot of pride that you expected him to apologize, and that was it, the thing done, right? But like I keep saying, Charisse has already shown her hand with Kayla, has shown her hand with Shakyra, she's shown her hand with Randall already, and now we've got another situation with Mike as well. There's a running pattern with a few of these people on the show. Charisse is one of them, Kadian's one of them, Mike is one of them. They get into spats consistently with people on this show, regularly. You see how AJ dealt with the Shakyra situation? He was even going to argue and he said, let me just chill. No point, man. Like, just, you know what I mean? But there are other people on the show who keep on getting these combative moments on the show. So it tells you a lot about the way that people are able to handle conflict and the way they deal with certain situations. But hey ho, hey ho. Okay, cool. Let's, since obviously Charisse is getting a bit of flack, let's continue on with that particular case because she spoke to Zoe and they had a very interesting conversation. Apparently people are taking back their rings when they give them out to people. So let's get that story.
About 7 years. She was always wanting to get married. I bought the girl a ring. I gave her what she wanted, you know, and that was to be engaged.
Ooh, Zoe and Charisse. Ooh, baby. Man said he's taking back the rings. Go on, Seaway.
I mean, that was the most diabolical story. But honestly, there's so many people like Zoe. There's so many men like Zoe in this world that literally will string women along, and women will in turn allow themselves to be strung along when they know good and well that this relationship is not serving them. But what is unique though is him telling that story like it was really okay for you to propose to someone out of obligation and then the next day take it back. Like, what in the sociopath? Like, that was like very, very strange, very off-putting. I was actually happy that Charisse kind of came to that conclusion because her first response to Devin's deadbeat behavior gave me red flags. So I didn't know how she was going to respond to this. But she definitely, I think, picked up that Zoe is not right. Not right at all. So I mean, the ladies were already not feeling Zoe, and this to me would be the nail in the coffin. Like, you literally wasted a woman's time for 7 years only to give her a ring and take it back the next day. If that story is even true, I don't even know what to believe. But that was sick.
Yo, the stories I'm hearing from the backyards. This be in the atmosphere. Did someone say that? You know,
you're saying people do this? Cool.
I'm saying from what I heard from the streets is that this is not the first time Zoe's wasted somebody's time. But let me not say nothing. You'll see.
I mean, don't he look like he don't? I mean, you're not a woman, but I could just tell you, like, he just looks like he's going to waste your time. So if you sign up there to get your time wasted, then best of luck. But
I hear ya. Go for it, Sean.
Yeah, I'll be right with Seaway until she jumps off that cliff. You know, I'll be right with you. It's like
what this time?
The cliff was that there's so many men out there that are just like him. Like, you had all the point. I was with you, wasting time.
Sean,
the story was full of ooh la la. I get it, but the so many men. That's when I want.
Why do you care, Sean? Are you one of them?
Brittany.
Okay, then.
I love you, and your hair is beautiful.
But we know it's beautiful. Thank you. However, you're avoiding the question.
Oh no, I'm not avoiding it.
What I'm saying is, Sean, before you go on,
like, if it's not you, then don't
thank
worry
you,
about
Brittany.
it.
I appreciate you, but Sean, before you land that plane, I'm gonna tell you, in this 30-something age range, I am seeing a lot of men who are wasting women's good years, good uterus procreating years, all to waste their time. And the women that come out on the other side of them also turn out to be diabolical because they're angry, they're mad, they're fuming because they literally wasted their prime years. And if there's any men watching, the worst thing you can do is waste a woman's 30s playing. She will hate you forever. She will haunt you. She will haunt you when she's gone and you're gone. Y'all, the ghosts are gonna be bumping heads and tussling. Don't ever do that.
It will be between you and the exorcist that you need, because clearly you need an exorcist. Because why is your spirit rustling at this point? You know what I'm saying? You wasted your own time.
Kojo. It's tussling.
Y'all wasted your own time. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not trying to be a bloke, but you wasted your own time.
If you're selling dreams, no. If you're selling dreams, yeah.
And you're buying.
But if you're selling dreams and you didn't got this woman a ring all to take it back.
Yeah, but I wasted 7 years of your time.
Who knows what you were saying? I mean, the woman still gets 40% blame.
Okay,
I just
want to clear up something.
You were pressured,
quick, right? Can I clear up something very?
Yes, you can.
Quickly,
Sure. Sorry,
right?
you're too. Sorry, my bad, bro.
Disagreeing does not equal triggering. Okay, so I have every right to disagree if there's a point that is being made that I do not agree with. Right, so I have a right to state my opinion. So for anybody in the comments who thinks I'm triggered, I'm not triggered. One, I don't have any kids, so I wasn't triggered before from the Swayze thing. Two, I've never wasted a woman's time, so I'm not triggered in this particular conversation. And I very well know it's not me. However, I can disagree with the point, and that's what I do. And I mean, me and Seaway go back and forth all the time, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But I just want to be clear that
you ain't never wasted a woman's time?
What'd you say?
You ain't never wasted a woman's time?
No. I've never wasted nobody.
Back when you had the waves and the curls.
Okay, listen. What
we're
not going to do
Don't worry.
is get pineapples.
I'll mute her, so don't worry. I'll mute her. Sorry, you get extra seconds. Go on.
Thank you, because I can't seem to complete a point here. So I'm trying not to let my mic waves come out, but you guys are not making it very easy for me. All my point is, I think there's a lot of damage in relationships. And yes, can we say there are men that waste women's time? Of course, yeah. But look, I was just in the barbershop earlier. One of the dudes did a lavish proposal. He's been with his girl for 4 years. She said she don't want to get married, right? So you talk to him, he's going to say she wasted his time. So I think it's just very hard for us to generalize and say it's all men, it's all women. There's some issues. And I think granted, Zoe was making that story up as he went along. So I can very well agree with you on that point. It seemed like he was piecing the story together while Charisse was asking him the question. So I don't really believe much of what he said. So there it is, and I'm done.
Love that, Sean. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yes, who's going next? Stacey, you wanna jump in now? So and Charisse.
All I'm gonna say is I agree with y'all. Like, he was either making the story up as he went along, or that was a $2 ring. Because I don't know who's gonna put all their time and effort into going to pick out a ring. Like, that ain't a small feat, and the rings ain't cheap to give it and take it back. Well, I wish somebody would get some. Like I said, either the story's made up or it's a $2 ring. And if I'm wrong, then somebody correct me.
JR wants to answer the question, so JR, you want to answer it? Go for it.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it was a $2 ring. Otherwise, you would have let her keep it, and it wouldn't have been no sweat. But I definitely think it was a rough night that night after that proposal, and that just whatever happened, man, it changed his mind. He rescinded that proposal the next day, took that ring back, and probably wanted to get his money back too with the proof of purchase, wherever he purchased it from. So I think he again shot himself in the foot. I'm not sure why he would want to tell that story, especially to someone like Charisse, because it doesn't make him look good. So why would you want to make up a story that makes you look terrible to someone who's going to go and blab to the rest of the girls in the group? That doesn't make sense to me.
JR, I need you to make it make sense me.
Hold on, sister. You can't cost us 2 minutes. He's got 2 minutes. Hold on, let me finish this.
Yeah.
No worries.
So I'm just saying, for me, that story didn't make him look good, didn't show him in a good light at all. So, and then, like I said, telling Charisse, who's one of the most critical and judgmental on the show, man, that did him no favors whatsoever. I'm not even sure what the point of him even opening up about that was. Everybody's got a past. If you're not still traumatized by your past, there's no need to really go into detail about it. Just not at this point anyway. You don't know these ladies. Only 4 episodes in.
All right, go for it, Stacey. You can answer. Thank you, JR. And then Bree, you can go after.
Sorry, JR. You took a long pause, and I thought you were done. So, what you just said sound about like what Mike said. That don't make sense. Who gonna spend 7 years, and then something happened one night after you done proposed? That night you go lay down, y'all in the house together, and then you wake up and say, "Oh, I want the ring back." That don't even make sense. Like, I got a bridge in Brooklyn. You want to buy it? It's for sale.
Go for it, Jay. You want to respond?
I was going to say, I don't think it was a small, minor argument. Something must have went down, because why would you get down and commit to someone that you've been with? Your families, your friends have been interlinked with each other for 7 years. And then all of a sudden, you want to rescind the engagement. I know everyone's talked about wasting a woman's time and blah, blah. If a man's wasting a woman's time, he's wasting his time as well. Like,
JR.
That's a great point. It's a great point, JR. That's a great point, JR. We're also wasting our time.
JR, I like your super cape that you're wearing tonight. It's very nice. What is that? What is that? Velvet? What is that? You know, what you got? Silk? Come on, let's be for real. This man clearly said, I gave her what she wanted.
Right.
That means he already knew he was wasting the time. He didn't mind wasting time because he wasn't wasting his time with just her, period. That's why that ring came back. Let's be for real, Jay. Let's be for real, JR. He gave her the ring just to appease her, to shut her up. It was a hush ring. And he's like, you know what? You got too quiet now. Let me take this back. That doesn't mean that anything went down. He didn't want to do it in the first place. This is not something he wanted to do in the first place. He got his grandma's old ring and was like, here you go, baby girl. I give it to you. Now he wants grandma's ring back because grandma said, where my ring's at? Give me my stuff back. You stealing my jewelry from the old times, ho. Give me my jewelry back. And he got to go get it back.
No, I definitely think if it was his grandma's ring, then he would want that back because of sentimental value. But I'm saying, look, let's be real. There are women that waste men's time. We see Instagram recently and social media blowing up because people are getting flued out and wasting guys' time when they get there and being called out on it too. So we know that these things are happening. It's not a one-way street where men are just out here wasting women's time. Men care about time too.
He waited 7 years, JR. He waited 7 years to give her a ring. Okay, you didn't have to wait that long to give her a ring. You didn't want to do it in the first place. You didn't have to do it. He didn't have to do it.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. There's 300
ain't no shotguns.
million people in the States. So for him to date one for 7 years and think about proposing. I'm not saying he's not a dog.
Date one. Really? You think he dated one? JR? JR, your smile is letting me know that you don't even believe he dated one.
Listen. All right. We don't know the ins and outs of their relationship. We haven't heard her side or his side fully, right? But we're speculating at this point. Fact of the matter is, 7 years is a long time to give anyone.
And we heard somebody's side from the streets that said he was on the show. He was on the show while dating her.
Yeah, I actually knew about that. Like, he has a girlfriend. In fact, I'm not going to spill the tea like that.
You can say it. You can spill the tea.
Yeah, I can spill the tea. Okay, so basically, there's some tea going around that Zoe has a girlfriend the entire time that he's been on the show. And he told her that he was going on a reality show, but didn't tell her that it was a dating reality show. So now she's having to sit back and watch this air, finding out that he was mingling and dating other girls, while she was at home. He was coming home to her every day, getting washed, dressed, having dinner, all the other stuff with her every day, coming to the set, filming, and getting to date other girls. That's what the tea is. So I'm not saying he's not a dog. I'm not saying he's not a creep. He probably is a bad guy. But all I'm saying is, it works both ways. It's not just he wasted her time and da. No, he wasted his own damn time too. 7 years, and he didn't decide to propose earlier for whatever his reasons were. But when he did, he ultimately rescinded it. It just didn't work out.
Wait. Before anyone goes, Brittany's been waiting. Sorry, I did say she would go next. Sorry, go for it, Brittany.
I'm just gonna say this. That was the most unconvincing story I've ever heard in my entire, well, not my entire life. I've heard others, but I mean, I was just sitting there like, what? And I'm glad Charisse sniffed it out because she was the right one, honestly. But you know, Zoe made himself look bad in that situation. Regardless of how far down the line we go with this, the ifs, the whats, the could be's, he made himself look bad in that moment. I mean, and then at the end of the day, homegirl wasted her time too because she stayed with him for 7 years without a ring. I mean, they both wasted each other's time. So, whatever. He just sounded very unconvincing. And Sean, you don't. We wasn't saying you are that person. However, you ain't got to make the point. She said a lot of men, not all men. So if it don't apply, let it fly. Period. We love you.
And I disagreed. I love you back.
All I wanted to say is I'm glad that we know that Zoe had a girlfriend, because I was gonna say he acting like someone with a girlfriend on the show this whole time. So actually, I'm glad to hear that's what the problem was, because that's what it looks like. He seems arm's length with everyone. So
that's true. That's a fair point. Lorraine, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, up until this episode, everything with Zoe has been very surface level and very like interview kind of responses. When he was speaking to Shakyra, it was very much giving, like, he's giving the answers that he feels like the women want to hear. I didn't find anything quite interesting about him. I didn't find anything truthful about him or authentic about what he was saying. So it was interesting that Charisse said it would be nice to have a personable conversation with you, because that's how he was coming across, as quite surface level. So I think that he took this opportunity to share something that would show him in a more human light, I guess. I think that's why he told that story, because she kind of said, I would like to know a bit about you, about your past and this, that, and the other. Granted, that was the wrong story to tell, but I think that's why he was telling that story. The reason why I think that he's kind of giving interview answers, like everybody's saying, is that when he was telling the story, it's like he was trying to find the right words to kind of like piece it together, to make it, I don't know, PC. I don't know. It just seemed very much like I want to give the right answer so that you can see me in a good light. It wasn't just, this is my story, this is my life, and you know, this is what I did and I'm owning it kind of thing. You know, kind of saying, you know, I gave the lady. I just thought that was like, what would you mean I gave the lady? Like, you're talking about someone that you haven't shared a past with, if you completely disconnected. So it's either it's not a true story, or there was never any emotional attachment with that person to begin with. I'm probably looking into it a bit too much. But, you know, he knew from the get-go that he didn't want to be with her. He knew from the get-go that he didn't want to marry her. So I understand this whole narrative of, yes, women also waste men's times and all that kind of stuff. But from how he was telling the story, it seems as though he knew from the beginning that this was not the woman for him, right? And you know, the woman, she rightly should not have been asking, you know, what are we, what's going to happen, marry me, this, that, and that. Because when you have to ask all those questions, just know that the man's not going to marry, he's not going to marry you. But you know, he gave her what she wanted, and then, you know, the whole asking for the ring back, that story, it's not sounding legit, because why would you ask for the ring back the very next? I don't know. It's either it really happened and you you are not right in the head. I don't know. Or you just mean, because for you to do that, it doesn't make any sense. But, oh, God.
Sorry. Thank you, Lorraine.
Sorry.
It's okay. No, listen. You know, I get everybody's points. I love everybody's points towards Zoe and between Zoe and Charisse. Good points. I think you guys made some excellent points. That was good. That was good discourse that you guys had. You know, and yeah. Listen, look, everybody's wasting everybody's time out here. Don't get your time wasted out here, guys. All right, all right. Just stay on this track. Stay safe out there, guys. Okay. Make sure you don't allow people to waste all your good years away. Okay, ladies. All right. If you want the ring, ask for the ring. If he's not given the ring, au revoir. Isn't it? Yeah. All right.
Can I say something else before we move on?
Really quickly, you can go for it.
Okay. So don't forget that he is in sales, right? So his responses were totally based off of Charisse's responses as well. Like, he was responding based on her feedback. So she was like, 7 years and y'all didn't get married? Oh, no, there was a ring. That's what we do in sales. He was giving a sales pitch. Fell flat. I'm sure the 7 years part, JR, of the story was the only true part. The rest of it, pitch. And Charisse was about it.
I agree. Listen, he was definitely selling. You know, I just feel like everyone needs to take accountability here. Okay, all right. I may have been selling, but you bought. I just find that a bit. You know, I find that a bit weird that you guys might not see that. If I sell, you didn't have to buy. You bought. You know what I mean? Like, listen. Don't advocate yourself out of this situation. That's what I'm saying. You know. If I offer the chocolate bar, you don't have to take it. You know what I'm saying? If you're on a diet and I offer you a chocolate bar, it's up to you to not take it. You know what I mean? I may be evil for offering you a chocolate bar, but you need to know not to take the chocolate bar. I just think if everyone takes accountability, we don't get this crying thing about, like, you know what I'm saying? The Bible says, do not be ignorant of the devil's devices. Some of you are pretending as if you can't see what the devil is doing. Sha? Oh yeah? Look. Zoe has wasted her time. He's also inadvertently wasted his own time. 7 years as well. So, but that again, we're not advocating for him to have any, to get off. We're just saying that everybody's wasting their time by playing this game where you're not, like, and if you're a person who really actually cares about your time on this earth, you'll realize I wasted 7 years as a man. Like, I've wasted time being with somebody who I didn't really care for. I would say though, there is another aspect as well that, you know what, some men just don't really want to get married. I know he talked about marriage. I think he needs to be honest with himself. Does he really want to get married? Maybe he liked the arrangement he had with that young lady and didn't want to get married, and then found himself coerced into trying to marry her. See, none of you know what to say about that. How some of you women are coercing men into these situations, and you are literally pressuring him into Satan. You're moving like Satan's snake in the garden, and then you're telling that. No, joke. But no, like, I'm only playing with you. But no, honestly, sometimes, well, the man too, you know, he also is being pressured into a situation. He doesn't want to lose you, but he's like, maybe I should just do it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has responsibility. Just the same way I would say that he cannot use that as an excuse as to, she was pressuring me as to why I didn't do it. I'm also going to be like, there's no pressure, babe. 7 years and you didn't walk? You wasted your own time, you know. Some of the older ladies in the church have told her not to waste her time after got to like year 2 or 3. That man ain't going to leave you. He ain't going to love you. All right, JR, really quickly, what are you saying? Then we move on topic. I need to unmute yourself, bro.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, at the end of the day, if she had proposed to him, then everybody would be calling her a pick-me or saying that she's desperate or why is she doing it. It's a man's role to propose to her when he feels ready. If he doesn't feel like she's the one, then he's not going to be ready. And like Kojo said, that's when she has to make her own decision whether she wants to stay there or not. But if it's up to him, he may be of the mindset that it would have been detrimental to have proposed to her or get married to her at an earlier stage. The fact that he was prepared to do it can be a good or bad thing. Maybe he was leading out the garden path. We don't know. But the fact of the matter is, It's over. It didn't work. And he said it was 11 years ago. So it's done. I'm not sure why it was brought up.
Hear that? Sean, you got a 1 minute ad? Go for it. Anybody else?
Not even. It won't take that long. I just want to say that's exactly the point I was trying to get across, is that when we make those grand statements like all men, all women, it takes us out of the equation. And that's just the sentiment that I was countering, is that I want there to be equal accountability on both sides.
I agree with you. Any of the ladies want to counter? You got a minute? You want to counter? Seaway says she's not approaching the bar. She said, I rest my case, Your Honor. I think the evidence is strong.
We're beating a dead horse.
No one cares anymore.
Because ain't nobody said all men, so I'm not even gonna respond. I didn't say that.
Exactly.
And nobody said that if a woman, is also begging all those years, that's not pressure. No one said that.
Mm. But you
So
also
I don't know where
didn't
y'all
say the
get
opposite.
this narrative from.
But you also didn't say the opposite. But you also didn't say. I know you didn't say, but you also didn't make that point either. So we're just trying to bring that balance.
It wasn't a point to be made. No one even thought that.
Do you know why no one thought that? Because you don't think about our point of view. That's the whole point.
No,
you
we
never
do
thought about our
think
point of
about
view.
your point of view. But no one is in
If you-
disagreement either.
No, but you would have said
They're
it.
on a male or female. No, I didn't, because y'all were summing it up just perfectly for me. Hell.
No, but that's what we had the pushback. That's why we were saying that we had a little bit of that pushback. So we were saying this. So you see how you're feeling like we're not seeing your point. It's the same way we're feeling like you didn't see our point. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think this is a perfect example of what men and women have as communicational error points, right? Because what we're saying is, look, you're saying about your point, which we agreed. Zoe wasted her time. We said, but then equalize the table. Say that she wasted her own time. None of you said that.
Oh, yes,
None
I
of the ladies
did.
said that.
Oh,
Yes,
she
I did.
definitely wasted her time.
I said that.
I don't remember hearing you lot say that. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I wasn't listening. Then again, I was doing stuff behind the scenes. Maybe I didn't listen very well.
You wasn't
Maybe I didn't
listening.
And see, and look, and I can take that back and say maybe I wasn't listening very well. That's it. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to you is the reason why you have pushback is because we were hearing one side for this whole conversation, and we were saying, well, bring the other side. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Equal weight. That's all. The same way, if we were giving our point of view, you'd want some equal weight. But like you just did to Sean. Listen, I watched you go back and forth with Sean, interrupt Sean as he was talking, because you had a different point of view, which is fine. So we were saying equalize it. So if you feel like we're doing too much, well, look at you going, you're doing too much too. And now we all think we're doing too much. So now we have to come to the table and be like, actually, let's hear you out and actually get to a common table here. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's come to the table here and actually start, making some headway together. That's how communication gets lost between men and women. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm hearing you. I'm not beefing you guys. You're not beefing me either. We're just seeing different points of view. And do you know what? I love the audience when they get like this, because the audience prove exactly what we're talking about. They go snooze fest. Whenever we're trying to give our point, as soon as we do that, snooze fest. Oh, the guys are doing this. The guys are doing that. And it's like, yo, we just giving you our point of view. Do you understand? It's okay. Sometimes it's okay. Just chill. It's not every day that you have to get excited and bicky dicky. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like this. I like this. So just someone said I've taken Sean's side.
You know what's so ironic, right? And this we can put to bed, right? But just the irony of it all is the fact that when I was calling Mike out, right? And I was saying that I could see the fact that, and even some of the ladies felt a little differently, but I was saying, no, listen, I could see how Mike was being misogynistic, or I was, understanding and being empathetic from a woman's point of view. Nobody told me I was triggered. Nobody told me, oh, I got an issue, and oh, I'm upset, and I'm projecting. Because it just it's whenever I'm calling something very specific out that a woman is saying, and it's about a woman, right, it just becomes an issue. And I think that's where we land on this like battle of the sexist territory. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I don't have to be triggered. And I could just disagree. I could disagree with Seaway. She could disagree with me. And it's not going to be personal for me. It doesn't have to be that she's projecting when she disagrees with something that I say. She just has a difference of opinion. And that's what makes the world go round. So ultimately, that's the plane that I feel that we kind of land on sometimes when we get to these very specific conversations. And me, when you start speaking in generalities, that's when I kind of like want to question it or want to dig a little deeper.
You know what we can agree on?
What's that?
We can all agree on, where is this comment? Char's comment that Zoe is wasting all of our time at this point because his presence on the show is cap. We should just move on. That we can agree on. Okay?
No, hey, listen, but no, I think this is a good conversation though. I think this is really important. We're talking about dating. This is a dating show. See,
well, I don't actually disagree. I think the funny part is like what you're saying. I don't disagree with nothing. I was clarifying that Sean said I said something I didn't say. I 100% agree that if you're staying in a relationship past its expiration date, let's say you're staying in a relationship with the Zoe for 7 years, you have, like I said in the beginning, you have accountability there for wasting your own time. You know, you're a human with autonomy. And if you see that the relationship isn't going anywhere and you're staying, begging and pleading for a man to marry you beyond a reasonable point, you're wasting your own time. My point is that these men who I feel like, unfortunately, society or fortunately, women are in the position where we have to wait for a man to propose to us. So that upsets the power dynamic. JR, what do you mean we don't? You know we do. We're in a position where that's what.
Hey, see,
I don't want to hear it.
Don't let him derail you, baby.
I don't want to hear it. You know what? Whatever you want to say, okay? But we're in a position where we're in that, and that upsets the apple cart, the dynamic. So we do have to wait a little bit, you know? So that's why I put that 60. That what I originally said was like 60-40. Like beyond that reasonable time, you know, then it's on you. But these men who know good and well, they don't see it for these women year 1, year 2, year 3, and they're wasting their time. I feel like, you know, that's an act of violence, and they're wrong for that. And that's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying it's all men. I'm saying I have seen a lot of men actively wasting women's time in their 30s when women really want to get married, and then they don't see nothing wrong with it. And I'm saying that's when a ghost gonna come back and haunt you because like you're wrong for that. But again, women do not stay in a relationship beyond its expiration date. If a man is looking like he don't really want to marry you, you also have the ability to move on, and you should. So, I don't think we disagree.
No, we definitely agree, and that's why. See, so I think what happened there is a beautiful moment. So I personally didn't, and again, maybe my hearing wasn't great. When I first heard the ladies' take on this situation, I didn't hear much of the equal balance that you're talking about. I'll be honest with you, boys. Did you hear it? They're shaking their head. So none of us really heard it. So I know you ladies are saying that you did.
Because I was talking to him, and if we run it back, I actually literally repeated the exact same thing. That's what shows how like we don't listen to each other because literally I repeated it. I said 60-40.
Change the narrative. I did. The first thing when I came on, I said to you. And this is the thing that's killing me because I did not say all. I don't think you said all. It's not the all. What I said was I was with you on everything you said until you jumped off the cliff and said that there's a lot of men out here wasting women's time just like Zoe. And I said, that's the part that I have contention with.
That's fine. But you did. But so we're agreeing that you just heard me say everything I just said. But you disagree.
No, you said that now. You clarified now. But in your first statement, no.
I need y'all to run the tape. I said the exact same thing. Literally the exact same. That's the crazy part.
I said what I said, and Sean said what you said is some BS. So there we are.
Run the tape. I ain't changed the
Where the 2 minutes at, Kojo? Where the 2 minutes at?
No, it was a dialogue. It was dialogue. No one went over 2 minutes. To be honest, everyone kind of gave their point. And I think, like I said, and I like hashing these kind of conversations on purpose because I think it's a good highlight. See, even as we spend a lot of time together, we spend 5-6 hours after live. We spend 3 or 4 more hours after this, and even we can miss each other on communication. Like, that's how easy it is. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't paying fully attention, so I've missed out. If you ladies have said it, then I've missed out. I would have to go back and over the conversation again. I'm not going to. I'll just say that, listen, I wasn't listening, so I'll put my hands up. Do you know what I mean? So now I've missed an important, critical part of communication, and I'm inserting my piece of information to it, and now suddenly the conversation is getting to where we're all like having our side, your side is a battle. And so that's why I wanted to have that conversation. To get both sides, and I like hearing both sides. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the dialogue that you guys and you ladies are giving us because it highlights, you know, some of the issues that we have with communication, and also as well, maybe I need to listen better. You know what I mean?
I was just about to say when you listen, but we, you know, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll run the tape back down after. Don't worry.
I mean,
I have a feeling the girls are going to apologize.
From listening, you guys are everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone's saying the
exactly.
same thing. So I'm sitting here listening. You're all saying the same thing, but from different perspective. So you know, Seaway's looking at it from a female perspective. You're looking at it from your male perspective, but you're all saying the same thing, that everyone should be taking accountability. Men don't waste women's time. Women don't stay in a situation where you're not wanted. But I think because of our own experiences and our own gender biases, we're kind of looking at it from our own perspective, even though we're saying the same thing.
Appreciate. See, mediators. That's what we need. Love it. Thank you.
Somebody said we should lift up all 10 toes and move on.
Just know I ain't giving an apology. I was giving JR pushback and stand where I stand. Ain't no apology.
I mean, honestly, I love the pushback. You know,
yeah. I get our apologies when they run that.
Yeah, I love the pushback. I love having a good disagreement. I think it's just as long as we could just have an equal exchange of ideas and be okay with not always accepting what somebody says. You know, so.
This is mainly to the audience, by the way. This is not even to the panelists.
No. Just for clarity, when we run the tape, I'm not disagreeing that the part about what me and John.
No, I'm not.
We're gonna run this tape, though.
You
said just before you run the tape.
I want to be clear about what we're running.
He is trying to recreate and the stenographer and
I want to be clear about what we're running the tape about.
All right, go on.
Caught Brittany over there co-signing everything. She did say it. She did. No, we didn't hear it. I did not hear it.
No, I'm not backing out. I ain't twerking.
She is. She loves to back out.
We say Seaway. We say
Seaway. She loves it. Go ahead. Come on. Give me that good old moonwalk.
No, because I remember what I said. I did say men be wasting. I said men be wasting people's time. So, and then that's when Sean that's when he interjected and was like, don't be saying all men be wasting people's time. And I said, I didn't say all men. I said men be wasting people's time. So if you want to say I generalize, fine. But I said the 60-40% and that both people are responsible for wasting each other's time in a relationship is what I said in the beginning and end. So when you run the tape, you will hear that, and that's what I'm saying. So
don't worry, we'll run the tape later on. We'll run the tape after the show has ended, and I'm sure there'll be apologies all the way around. All right, cool. Let's move on to the.
Y'all are so
the audience think we're really serious. Okay, cool. Last scene, I think it is the last scene of the day. I think that's the last clip I've got of the day now. So it was with Samson and Charisse, actually, because old thing was giving out all the advice and stuff. So that's.
I always get asked that question. And then when I say that I'm just a black woman, it's like.
Maybe you're just too intimidating.
That's it.
I love an intimidating woman.
I'm glad you love my strength.
I'm gonna make this last 40 minutes of warfare. Man, she said that she's intimidating. Are we gonna have that? Are you gonna have that? Is she intimidating? Is that the right word you would use? Is she intimidating? intimidating. You know that word dating's in there. The intimate. I don't know what the intimate means, but she's
You
intimidating.
asking is she into dating? Yes, I think she is.
Mandem, I want to ask a question. Charisse, intimidating? Would the right word we describe that kind of aspect of behavior? Intimidating? Would you describe it that way? JR, you're smiling a lot. Unplug yourself. Say your piece. You have 2 minutes.
Man, she's absolutely intimidating. I don't know why anyone would want to sit down and have a conversation with Charisse after seeing how she's behaved on the show with the information that people have shared with her, and also her opinions and stances about other people's business. And then, as we've spoken about earlier, she gets very defensive when you talk about her. So, I think the conversation with her will be very intimidating. Not something like we've seen some of the men, not just on this season, but I'm thinking about people like Fernando. Man, these people break out in sweats when they're trying to open up to some of these girls. So it's not easy all the time. And Charisse does not make it easy for you to open up to her because she will weaponize what you say. So, yeah, in my opinion, she's very intimidating. Red flag.
Beautiful.
Turn off.
Red flag in the play. All right, Sean, what's your thoughts? Intimidating?
I guess it depends on who she's interacting with, right? I could see from somebody like Mike, who his perception or what he wants is more of this demure, not so outspoken woman. Yes, then it would be intimidating to him. She's not intimidating to me, at all. I mean, does she lack tact? Absolutely. And would I date her? Probably not. Would she date me? Maybe not either. But I definitely think that she's an outspoken person, and her and Mike wouldn't be a match.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You know what? I think Charisse. I think she likes having situations with people like Mike and them. So I think she likes a bit of that battle. I think she likes the back and forth. As for me, I just don't deal with women like that. It's that simple. I just don't. You know what I mean? The moment I start seeing that energy, I'm not wasting my time with you. I'm out. Okay? Yeah. So if I start seeing what Charisse was giving out, I'll be like, "Thank you, ma'am," and I've left. So I just can't deal with rude people. It's not my kind of thing. I just think that there's if you don't have the emotional intelligence to check how you deliver certain things, then I'm just not. I'm not involved. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. But I can see why Samson would go for her because I believe his life coaching is bypassing some of the guards and the barriers. But he gonna find out like everybody else. You still gonna get slapped. So, ladies, what's your thoughts on this? On Charisse and Samson intimidating? Have you ever been called intimidating by a man before? have they ever said you're intimidating?
Can you replay the clip, or maybe after they talk?
No worries. Are you telling me what to do, or should I just?
I'm asking.
I wanted to know what to do.
Now you trying to tussle with me?
I'm playing with you, babe. I love you. All right, let's play this clip, man.
I always get asked that question. When I say that I'm just a black woman, it's like,
maybe you're just too intimidating.
that's it.
I love an intimidating
I'm
woman.
glad you love my strength.
Man said I love an intimidating woman. We've lost Samson to the streets, but go on, Seaway.
My question is, I'm gonna answer your question. Have I been called intimidating before? Yeah, but wasn't the question people always ask if I'm a black woman, and then she goes, I always get asked that question, and then I say I'm just a black woman, and he goes, maybe you're just intimidating. Kodo, how does that make sense? Like, how does that conversation make sense? I know it's not the question you're asking, but I just want to say that whole dialogue didn't make any sense. Like, what does her being intimidating have to do with people asking if she's a black woman?
Maybe she's associated too. Maybe she has associated too.
Yeah, but I'm like, is that editing or is that just like a dumb conversation? I was just like, really, really, okay. 12-6, that's really like bad editing. So I'm like, people are always asking you if you're a black woman in Miami. You say you're just a black woman, and then the next question is, well, maybe it's because you're just intimidating. I'm like, then I love your strength after that.
Not you reading the transcript.
I'm confused. Like I couldn't bypass how crazy that. I just had to highlight that whole conversation was just crazy for multiple reasons that I'm sure we will continue to get to. I mean, but yes, I've been called intimidating, but no, that's never stopped me from dating people because someone called me intimidating. So yeah, that's all I got on that. But the whole conversation was weird. I'm gonna get on Samson in a minute after if we get to that. But
no worries, still love that. Yeah, Brittany, you were gonna say something, and I went to see it. Go for it.
Yeah, because I felt confused too. So I was just gonna say with Samson, every time I've watched him interact with a woman, he gives me Captain Save Up. You know, like he want to save everybody. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't genuinely like them, but I don't get any real chemistry with them from him. I don't know. It's just he's not doing enough for me. He cool, but it's like he's trying to. I don't know. I don't have the words for it right now, but Samson's he's wearing the cape and he want to save somebody. I mean, if you remember his story about his mom, you know, he probably wanted to save his mom, so he wants to save every woman that he comes across to, if he likes them. But yeah, that I don't know. The comment was a little weird to me too. But that's really all I can say.
All right, appreciate it, Brittany. Stacey, talk to me. My phone's died. Go for it.
Have I been called intimidating? Yes. And y'all want to know by who?
By the pastor. By the pastor.
By Jason from my season. And it was so crazy because it was like
our fave.
Our the one in the love triangle.
Seaway's fave. That's the only fave that he was. He's the pastor who got in Liz's face.
No.
Jason, the one that we dragged all season.
It wasn't Liz.
Jason.
Yeah. And you know what? It was crazy because he was not being truthful in the moment when he said it. It was like after he had given me this long, like we were having like a moment where he was being vulnerable and sharing with me, and I was like, oh, I was really understanding him. And then he came back and was like, the men feel like you're intimidating, which, you know, I had conversations with the other men. Like I asked them, did you say this or did somebody say? And they were like, no, like what? Like you're fun and funny. Like, what are you talking about? Because I'm actually very approachable. So like, to me, like in that moment when he said it, it was like to try to make me feel less than or bad. So I feel like sometimes when people use that to men and women and be like, oh, you're intimidating, it's like to try to make you feel like you're not in it. Like to me, I was like, what are you talking about? Because like when he said it didn't make sense. Much like when it was said in this scene, I agree with Seaway. The context of it didn't make sense. And I just think it was just, you know, it was a heavily edited scene.
Okay. I hear you. Thank you, Stace. I hear you. Lorraine, in Spain.
Have I been called intimidating? Yes. In a work setting by someone who's not black. So on reflection, I understand why. My approach, to be honest, looking back, was intimidating, if I was to be completely honest. So yes, I have been called intimidating. And in this situation, I think I understood the context of the conversation. So what Samson said was he's looking for a woman with a story, with a background, and you know, someone who's struggled, and he finds that it happens a lot with Black women, and that's when Charisse said, "I'm happy you said that, because as Black women in as Black women in Miami, it can be difficult, this, that, and the other." So that's how the conversation started, with Samson kind of putting it out there that he is the savior. He wants someone with struggle, which for me, that I was just like, no, why do you want me for my struggle? Like everyone has a story, everyone has a past, but the fact that you want someone with a struggle, why? So you can fix me, so you can save me and be my hero. So I didn't really appreciate that. I just thought, no, I don't, just like soft life, baby. Like, no, I don't want to be talking about how hard life is and this, that, and the other. And, you're not my therapist. Like, there needs to be a distinction in the relationship. Yes, you can be my safe space, but I don't want to be coming to you for counseling and therapy to be like, and then this happened in my childhood, and then it was so hard because no, we're not doing that. So that was a bit weird for me. Charisse, I don't know, is she intimidating? I think she's overpowering. I think she's very just overpowering, just her presence. But I want to compartmentalize it. In this situation, I really like the dynamic with Samson. She doesn't come across as intimidating in that dynamic. I think overall she can be a bit overpowering, but in this dynamic with Samson, she's a bit softer, I think.
Thank you very much, Lorraine. Appreciate it. Yep. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plane. Brittany, have you gone yet?
I did, but I forgot to answer the first question because all the other ladies did. Yes, I have been called intimidating, but I didn't really care because it said a lot about the people who had something to say about me. So honestly, I don't care. A lot of people don't think I'm intimidating though. So
that's fair.
Okay.
One day we'll talk about that. We'll make a whole real talk about that because it's real. The fetishization of even in UK, it's a similar thing. Light skin. Ours is more light because we don't have the same qualification. But light skinned women, they can get away with certain things that a darker skinned woman can't get away with. Do you know what I mean? Something is looked at as sexual. She's feisty. She's spicy. So I guess the equivalent for you guys is Latino in that sense. But Jay, go for it, and then I'll open up again.
Yeah, to answer that question, yes, I've been called intimidating, and to be honest, I kind of do it on purpose, especially at work, because I don't want to I don't want to socialize with the people. Like, that's just me. So I do it on purpose, like, and I get that from Stacy, because she laughed when he said it. She was like, "You don't find me, you like intimidating, and I like that about you." So she kind of does it on purpose, and when I say on purpose, it's a defense mechanism. Yep. For what reason, I'm not really sure. She would have to explain why she's at that point. But I knew it, and it's going to sound a little vain right now, but I used to do it because I didn't like being approached by men all the time, or whatever. So when you put on that rest and be face, and you do all these little things, that sometimes lower that chance they're going to approach you in weird settings, especially like when I'm by myself. So I come off a little bit more hard, a little bit more like. Try to be a little bit more intimidating, so it won't be one of them situations where you feel like you can come up to me, touch me, and grab me or whatever and stuff. I don't want to even have that challenge. So I just present myself a certain way, and it could be that same thing for her. I'm not really sure. She would have to explain why she uses this method, but obviously it's becoming a crutch for her because now she's in this space where she can't turn it off. So that's what a problem I see with Stacey is, that she doesn't have that balance of when to turn it on and when to turn it off for people, but she can turn it off because we're seeing that with Samson.
But why do you keep saying Stacey though?
Oh, Charisse, I'm sorry, the name with the S. Sorry, not you. I'm seeing her face, not you.
I wasn't sure either. I was like, well, she kept mentioning Stacey. I said,
yeah, I'm sorry. I miss Charisse, not Stacey. I don't know why I can't
wasn't going to say that though. We already caught smoke on the last conversation. I was trying to let you lot have it.
Okay, I'm gonna apologize for saying Stacey. Okay, if I offended you,
my bad. But Seaway, you're gonna thank you, Jay. Seaway, you want to talk about Samson. What was your thoughts around Samson? Because he's definitely someone. I think Brittany said it. He's definitely a saver.
Yeah, he has a savior complex, and he just be saying stuff. Like, I just be like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, he legit just be talking, and it don't be making any sense. And this whole, he's constantly looking for a project. And I said that, as you remember, probably Kojo, from the beginning, when I said it was a red flag, his life coach situation, and how he seemed like so interested in Shakira's struggle story, like way too interested in her struggle story. And I'm like, something's wrong here, bro. Like, that's a little weird. And also, like, this, like, he seems obsessed, not obsessed, but he seems to really want to talk about, like, his struggle, and he seems like he really wanted to share about the cleaning up of the cans. And it's not like you can't be organically open, but I just feel like it's giving red flags there, and I've said this before. The other thing is, I just wish Black people in general would, like, unsubscribe from this, like, struggle Olympics thing that we're doing, and it's not just women, but it's like, it's men and women. Either we gotta, like, prove that we started from the bottom, we gotta prove that we made it with no handouts, or the women have to prove that we're strong and we're powerful because we're strong. And it's like, can we just unsubscribe from this? Like, can we just be like, you know, I can't wait for the days where we start bragging about, yeah, I have 2 generations of 2-parent homes who put me up, and now I'm put up, and I'm passing down generational wealth. Like, not every story needs to be this started from the bottom story, I'm struggling story. And I just didn't like how, like, Samson associated her power with struggle. I don't like that. So that's just my thing.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah, I definitely understand that. I think obviously he's a very empathetic person, and I think it's very difficult when you're empathetic to not let that lead you into scenarios with the opposite sex where you are seeing the greater good in those people. That's the downfall of being empath and being intuitive, that you tend to look beyond the guards and the problems that a person has, and you know, and that's Samson's going to be his biggest threat. Go on for it, Sean.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 things. One, that oftentimes when somebody tells you that they are intimidated, you are intimidating, that means they're intimidated, and they project it back onto you, which is pretty much what everyone was saying. And I think somewhere in the lines, that's probably how people are feeling around Charisse, is they may be intimidated by her. I think the other piece that Samson just didn't have the right language for was, and he mentioned it briefly, he was talking about the fact that, you know, his mother is Black, and that's the kind of woman that he wants, a Black woman, which is what he also said in the conversation. But he kind of went on a tangent to try to stretch it out and started talking about things that really just didn't connect with stuff. But I think they found I think the 2 of them, what I did see was some common ground found, right? And I think that in their conversation, it worked for them. I think us looking on, maybe we got a different feeling, but I think at the end of the day, they were able to bond over similar backgrounds, similar experiences, which in a lot of instances helps in relationship building. It's not the answer to everything, but I think it does help.
Yeah, man. I definitely hear you on that, Cap. Definitely hear you on that. Anyone else want to comment on that? Go for it.
I just think that Samson needs to have, like, church and state. I think it's good to be empathic and intuitive, but church and state, like, leave your work at home, because when you start kind of bringing that into the relationship, you start kind of diagnosing somebody already, or kind of be like, oh, this is probably why they do this, because, you know, that this and this has happened, and you then sometimes put up with things that you probably shouldn't, because you are seeing things from their perspective. You are understanding their trauma, what they've been through, because you're bringing your sort of state or whatever your work into the situation. So I think I don't know if he's able to do that, just to kind of like separate the two. Yes, you can identify someone's struggle. Yes, you can identify what someone has gone through, but don't then just use that to justify, or excuse their behavior. I feel like that's what he's doing with Charisse, to kind of give her a blight because of what she's been through, and with everybody, to be honest, and Shakyra as well.
Yeah, do you know what it is? Yeah, it's more of a precautionary tale for Samson. It's don't let your skill set like mislead you. Do you know what I mean? That's all. That's all we're kind of saying. Not that he's even a red flag. We're saying that you're looking at women, and you're trying. It almost feels like you're trying to save these women. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he may be just giving them life coaching at the end of the day. He might be, but he got Charisse somewhere beyond just the life coaching part. Do you know what I mean? And we're saying be careful. Like, hopefully you know what you're doing and you're in control. But if you don't, and you're letting your empathic skills, your intuition skills lead you, then it's leading you to people who I would say that are probably not going to be compatible with you long term. Not going to be long term compatible with you. And sometimes you can want to save somebody because you're so used to being in that position where you coach, you help people, etc., etc. It can make you miss a lot of red flags with somebody because what you're saying is, with me, I can work it out. With us, we can work it out, right? So, I think, as you said, Lorraine, church and state, understanding that point, and also sometimes, well, understanding this. Like I always say, you've heard me say it. I said Zadie's a baddie. Yes, she is. I'm never gonna. I could not date because I know your behavior, but I can still appreciate, and I know that if I was to allow my empathic ways to go ahead, I could find myself in a stupid situation. So you have to start being smart with yourself and being aware that you can be drawn to that, but it doesn't mean you have to stay there. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean you have to choose it. You can appreciate the fact that you may be drawn to it, but you do not have to choose it. So, yeah, that's all we're saying about Samson. Not that he's a red flag, but he should just be careful that his own doesn't blind. Go for it, Jay.
I'm going to say he's a red flag, but I'm not saying that he technically is. There's a flip side to this, too. There are some people that are out there that like fixer-uppers.
That's right.
And it just depends on how his past relationships have been. So I know if he's really a red flag, because some people that like fixer-uppers, once you're healed, they move on. You're no longer a project to them either. So there is a flip side to where he can get caught up if he is just into that Captain Saban, but he's just into one of those people that I like people's stories. I like to hear it and all this, and they get healed and they move on. It could be both sides. So I would just have to know history on his dating life, who's been the one who leaves the situation more so than the other.
Cool. Yeah. All right, cool. Any last thoughts, guys? Because that was the last clip I was showing. Yeah. All right, cool. Sean, if you could do the benediction for us, sir. We have reached the end of the show. Yep, benediction time. Pass the offering plate.
Wow, we spent so much time on our little debate that I felt like there was so much more we could have gotten to. But what I will say is that, it's communication is key. We talk about this very often, right? Also, be willing to hear both sides, be willing to listen to one another, I think is the most clear thing, right? And then also it's okay to disagree. If people are always in agreement, then chances are somebody's being fake, right? So disagreement is healthy. It helps us to hear each other's perspectives. And guess what? We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So let's use the body part that we have the most of more often. I would also say, back to, again, just be conscious of your perception. How people perceive you, may not be everything, but it could be something, right? So at the end of the day, you want to be comfortable and confident with who you are, but also willing to hear how other people perceive you. And if there's room for adjustments, sometimes adjustments need to be made. I also want to say, don't let somebody else tell your story. So whatever your story may be, whatever your trauma may be, don't let somebody else tell it. Make sure you tell it before somebody else does. And if you're not ready to tell your story, don't tell your story. Back to you, Coach.
I think Kojo took a break. Oh, wait, he's back.
Sorry, I have the headphones so I can hear you. You're good. Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate that. You're absolutely right. Don't let someone else tell your story. That's right. Don't let nobody do that for you. All right, cool. Listen, audience, it's been amazing. 3.5 hours. You guys spent over 650 of you guys turned up today, so we appreciate you on this Saturday night. I appreciate my panelists, JR, Sean, Jay, Lorraine, Stacey, Brittany, Seaway. Honestly, I appreciate you guys so much for turning out. Not to forget to remind you guys as well, listen, we're getting the details all locked and loaded. So I know some of you guys already hit me up as well, actually, privately. Some people have actually hit me on emails. So we are getting the event for Atlanta sorted. I'm sorting out DC as well. And then I'm sure New York will be closely followed behind. So just keep on the lookout. We'll have more information for you guys in terms of actual dates. And then the tickets will be out real soon. Listen, look, don't waste time. When the tickets come out, guys, get yours quick. Because it's going to sell out real quick. So, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some conversations, and we're going to vibe, man. Do you know what I mean? Just same way we do it here, the same way we do it in person. Do you know what I mean? We'll do some kumbayas as well whilst we're there. All right? So, I ain't kidding. But listen, audience members, thank you so much. But I got to leave you on a good note. I never leave you on a bad note. It's always we got to leave on a good note. We got to laugh, smile, and enjoy ourselves as we leave on this prestigious clip. As always.
And baby girl, I hope you got the feeling. Vision.